Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode of the MinnMax Show, place about games, friends, getting better. I'm Ben Hansen, and a happy Silksong to you, and I'm joined by one Jacob Geller.
I never thought this day would come, Ben.
Truly, the day where the four of us are podcasting together about the one and only Hollow Knight Silksong. We're also joined by Jeff Margiafava.
That's me.
And a happiest Silksong to the silkiest man in town. I'm talking about Serial Vasquez, returning champ.
Shaw. That's the thing she says all the time when you fight her.
Oh, does she say that? I didn't notice that. That's right, everybody. This podcast is going up one day late. Thank you for your patience. Hopefully we warned you last week about it enough. But we are talking about Hollow Knight Silksong, first impressions-ish of that there game. And then after that, we're talking about Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Will we teach you the Art of Vengeance? Stay tuned. Serial, God bless your heart, because you said that you wanted to talk about Lumines Arise a little bit.
Yeah,
and
I played the demo. I was going to play it today again, but you can't play it anymore.
Nope, they took it away. It's the Concord of its time, that demo.
They sent an email to me that said the Lumines demo is done. Go play Silksong. Like it said that in the email.
That's smart. Then we are swapping things around. We are nuking this cast from orbit, and we are getting Haley McLean, Sarah Podorski, and Leo Vader to join the cast. We're going to be talking about Discounty. We're going to be talking about 007 First Light, the next game from the developers of Hitman that Leo has some strong thoughts on. Sarah wants to talk about a game called Grimshire, and I played it today, and I am so excited to talk about Grimshire with Sarah. I think it's a fascinating game. We're going to be talking about Apotris. My God, I can't wait to talk about that as well. And then back half of the show, we have some great questions that people submit over there on Patreon. Thanks to everybody who submits great questions each and every week. If you just jump in on Patreon at the $2 tier, you can submit questions and win a prize potentially each and every week here with MinnMax. Also, you're helping support independent games media. But this week, and this week only, we have something special for everybody. If you support MinnMax on Patreon before this coming Monday, which is September 8th. I've been saying August accidentally over and over again. September 8th, everybody. If you jump in and support us at any tier on Patreon, or if you upgrade your tier, we will DM you on Patreon with a Steam code for Spilled, which is a really cool indie game that came out earlier this year. It's a sweet little experience, about as satisfying as a game can get, personally, where, Jacob, you played Spilled, right?
Yeah, to me, it goes in the category of just like no-brainer games.
Yes.
You know, it's like, it's pretty short. It's satisfying the whole time. Not for a second was I like, man, I wish I wasn't playing this game. You know, like I'm just like, great. It was a great time the whole time.
Unimpeachable, where you're cleaning up like an oil spill with this boat, and then you get coins for cleaning up, and then you upgrade the boat so you can clean up more. It is the cleanest little loop. So you can get a code for Spilled, help support independent games, and help support independent games media at the same time by supporting MinnMax on Patreon at even that $2 tier before September 8th. And we will we'll post on all social media if we happen to run out of codes. We have 200 Steam codes to give away, so jump on in, everybody, support us and get a code for Spilled. And I don't want to make this, I want to talk about Hollow Knight Silksong, obviously. I don't want this to be like boo-hoo, boo-hoo. But there is a weird thing happening where we could probably use a little extra support. And Jacob, I assume you're equally fascinated by this kind of YouTube grenade that's gone off, where it seems like August 12th, YouTube had a big update rollout, and the premise was they were using AI to try to determine viewers' ages, and then they were automatically gating a bunch of content if they thought you were underage. And now in that web, they have consumed a lot of MinnMax content, even though we censor swears and stuff, and we're by and large a family-friendly outlet. So our views for our video content over the since August 12th have dropped like 40%. Like I thought I was going insane. I really thought I was losing my mind. Then I started seeing like Skill Up and Second Wind out there also talking about they're kind of hit with that same ratio. And so it is scary. It feels like we're just kind of sent back in time 3 years, you know, for the level of views that we're getting. So we could really use the help on Patreon if you want to jump in and get that code for Spilled. I'd appreciate it. But Jacob,
also tell a friend you like listening to MinnMax.
Oh, thanks.
I'm always, it's like I wish that more of my friends listen to MinnMax, both because then they could like congratulate me, but also because like it's fun to share things with people. You know, half the reason we're always just talking about Blank Check is like, hey, that's a shared experience we have. And I feel like it's like, just tell your friends.
Yeah. Yeah, especially the video version there. But I mean, are you fascinated by this YouTube thing, or are you more in the camp of like YouTube's a roller coaster no matter what, whatever?
I that is the philosophy I've had to accept.
Yeah.
I was, I have a video come out a month, and so it's really, I'm not able to see trends that clearly, and so I've just been thinking, like, guess I lost it. Like, guess people are just not interested anymore, which might be true to some extent. But yeah, it's, I don't know. It's weird. And it's just like no one can do anything about it.
Right.
And it's like, is the AI age gating the reason? Is there something else going on? Were all our views inflated?
Right.
And now they're coming back? Like, you just don't know. You just don't have any idea.
Except every YouTuber now just wakes up and thinks, "Oh, I'm failing. I'm a failure." Yes. It feels like we are just
you
bombing.
Like seeing that little 9 out of 10 on the studio readout? You like knowing that this video is doing worse than all your other videos?
It's really rough. And like, if you enter restricted mode, which is what AI on YouTube is putting a lot of people into, so they can't see stuff that isn't family friendly. The latest episode of the MinnMax show that they can see is our Game of the Year debate for 2023. Everything else is just invisible. So we can use the help, everybody. Jump in and get a code for Spilled. Support us on Patreon. It's the cleanest way to keep us around. We'd appreciate it in these dire times, but we'll be all right. All right, let's get to the big kahuna here. Hollow Knight Silksong, everybody. Early impressions. We're all jumping in relatively fresh. How are you, Jacob? Were you feeling the sting of hype? How are you feeling this morning when you actually were able to download it and jump into the sucker?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's like, they got it sorted out quickly, but I think it's worth saying Steam, Nintendo eShop, PlayStation Store, and Xbox were all down at 10 a.m. Eastern time, which is when this released, which was wild. My theory, I don't know if this is true at all, is they probably have like additional servers that they turn on for like when the new Call of Duty is coming out or when Elden Ring is coming out. And maybe they like didn't have those on and then we're like, oh snap, turn everything on. Because it was really fun to see that this game that, it been kind of a meme of how excited people were for it for years and years. Like, see the actual tangible results of that. This isn't just something that people write Nintendo Switch, live streams. People really want to buy and play this game.
This isn't Snakes on a Plane. People are actually going to go to the theaters to play Hollow Knight Silksong. Yeah, it is fascinating to see. Like, if this doesn't fascinate you, something's wrong with you. If you love the game industry, this is about as fascinating as it gets. Is this sequel to an indie game can build up hype to this amount, and it can sell this many copies that it can just be a complete juggernaut and rival. I mean, the shorthand is it's indie GTA 6, which is like, it feels like it's at that level. I can't think of another indie game that has had this level of hype at launch as Hollow Knight Silksong. Can you? Like No Man's Sky, I guess, but that was promoted by Sony in a big way. But even this, I think, beats No Man's Sky.
It's like if Deltarune had all come out at once,
right?
I think it would have, but I think the episodic structure has kind of stretched out the hype for that a little bit.
Yeah.
What's interesting about Silksong, like, all of that is true, but then also it's the fact that it's not really the kind of like indie game that hits nowadays, where it's not like a peak, it's not like a surprise thing, it's not like this is a sequel to like a long running live service kind of like Roblox kind of thing, or like this isn't like a Minecraft 2 where like they're just planning to support this for years and years, and the idea is you can just play it forever and ever. This is like a self-contained thing. It's like a limited, but you kind of know that going into it, of like, this isn't a game that I'm gonna have a party with my friends and then play it for like 100 hours over the course of the next year. Right. It is just a thing that you play and you finish, and there'll probably be DLC, maybe an expansion pack. But the kind of game that this is, I think is kind of the most surprising thing to me.
I mean, just the idea that's like, this has to be the most hyped up Metroidvania game ever. It's so much bigger than any Metroid or Castlevania has ever been.
No, that's the wild part. I mean, I was listening to the Game Business podcast, and they were pointing out that like, if this game sells just as well as Hollow Knight sold, it'll be the biggest Metroidvania series of all time. Like, it'll conquer the lifetime sales of Castlevania and Metroid. It is so fun to see this completely out of the blue. And the extra whammy then of no reviews ahead of time. So, we talked about it last week about like, pros and cons to that, but the feeling of just, it's like the entire world gets to feel that little magical sprint of time that a lot of game reviewers get, where it's like, okay, no one knows what's in this game yet. We're all going in blind. There's no guides online. Let's just go experience this stuff together and let's figure it out together on Discord. If there's mysteries, and Reddit's going to be popping, like it just feels like a completely magical release. And yeah, there's 535,000 people playing it right now on Steam alone. And I'm sure that number is going to keep climbing into the evening here on day one. It is awesome.
You could also just go ahead and write that story that's going to come out in 2 months, like Hollow Knight Silksong like player numbers are down by like 80% and whatever, because everyone will always write those stories as if the game is old.
Yeah, exactly. But like I think a huge part of it too is I think like the price point. The fact that it's like $20, it's like approachable for absolutely everybody. And Kyle Bossman in his new delayed input pointed out that like it's the obvious thing of delayed cherry is literally leaving tens of millions of dollars on the table. They could have charged $30 for this. I don't think people would have blinked. It's like, it is just unbelievable. They're like, I don't know, $5 more than the last one. We're good. We're fine. We're already multimillionaires. What do we got to do out here? It just feels like a magical release in the industry.
Yeah, and I think it's
3% price hike. We're okay with that now.
I think it just speaks to like the team in general. It just feels like they are at a position where they can kind of not take conventional wisdom and just do, like, what is the thing that we want to do, and we don't necessarily run that by like kind of the idea of you like people would buy this at $30-$40, right? And then I've seen kind of some developers saying that like it's kind of not great that they're charging $20 when a bunch like Shinobi just came out and that's $30, right? And so like setting expectations, etc. But it just feels like the team is the entire success of this game, or like the kind of its development cycle, is just a small team that decided like, we're going to stay relatively small. We're just going to work on it until we feel it's done. And we're not going to like, well, we need to, this is like the scope that we need to hit by a budget and whatever. And like, they're not really like doing a lot of things that you normally do if you want to have like a big indie success, because they already, have that.
Yeah.
And so it just feels like they're kind of just saying, yeah, we're just going to do the thing that we want to do. We're not going to worry about like trying to meet expectations or whatever. So we're just going to release it and it'll be $20. Because that's what I would pay. I don't know, maybe.
It does feel the only comparable thing, and we know so little about this, but like the Haunted Chocolatier, the next like Concerned Ape game, I feel like that is going to be kind of the only comparable thing. And it's also a different community, because the people who are like super into Stardew are maybe not watching every Nintendo Direct, in the same way that Silksong people are. But that's another one that I imagine will launch at a price that people will be like, really?
Yeah.
But it's so cool. Yeah. That they can just, that they have no, like the traditional marketing for this is basically absent, and they're launching it at a low price. And it's just kind of like, you don't, if you are successful, and it's like, granted, they're successful beyond, 99.999% of indie developers, but like, you don't have to play the game. Like in a positive way, you don't have to make every possible cent from this. You can just kind of do what seems nice and do what seems, like reasonable to you.
Yeah. It's so funny seeing like that Bloomberg interview that Jason Schreier did. Basically the entire interview was like, development went well. We're just going to take our time because it's kind of fun. We wanted to add a bunch of stuff, but no drama. We're just working on it for a long time. I don't know. And like the fact that just was a fireworks explosion of other people picking up that story. Like the entire internet ran with the headline, Silksong development went well. It's like, there's so much anticipation. And the fact that, they got Jeff Keighley to go on stage and basically announce a countdown to a countdown for their trailer. They had Keighley on his hands and knees begging for any scraps. Like, it's just awesome to see this team. I hope they're good people. Just like kick butt with this game. That being said, I think a Metroidvania is a tough game to give early impressions of. Like you want to soak in this a little bit more to get the full impression. So definitely we'll be talking about this game more in the future. But I mean, so far, Jacob Gettler, how do you feel about Hollow Knight Silksong actually playing it?
I love it. It's like I've got nuanced feelings on like the ways in which I love it, but like it is just a wholly positive takeaway. It really, I was kind of wondering, that lightning in a bottle, are they going to be able to capture it twice? Is it going to feel like they're just playing the hits, whatever. And like, I think 3 or 4 hours in, what's amazing is it feels so much like the magic of Hollow Knight is there. And at the same time, they have so defined a new feeling for this game and this character in ways that like it is a fundamentally different feeling game than Hollow Knight in just ways that like really excite me. And even similar abilities have been contextualized so differently within the game that you just like this is not in any way a palette swap. Hornet's just such a different character that the ripple effects from that affect the feeling of the whole game.
Yeah, I feel like I'm maybe a little less kind of sold on like how different this is from the original Hollow Knight, but I'm not someone who has spent. I've only finished Hollow Knight once, so I don't necessarily have the kind of time investment, because there are things about like the basic rhythm of a fight of like you have like the one attack, right? Like there's not like a here's a 3-hit string and you have a dodge or whatever, or at least not yet, but like here's all these different techniques that you use, and it's kind of you're just kind of picking your moment. It's about like kind of it's Dark Souls-ish in that you just have the attack that you have and you're kind of just waiting for the right moment to use it constantly. But I will agree, like I actually would not have had this opinion an hour ago where I just got the sprint. That really changes kind of how you approach a lot of stuff, because you get like a sprinting attack and then it's also an air dash and stuff. And so there are a lot of different ways that they kind of do build on it, but it like early on, it definitely had this feeling of like, okay, it's a Hollow Knight game where you kind of are kind of just mantling. I don't know if you had mantling in the original Hollow Knight, but
no, you didn't.
So like that I think is actually really big. And then I had like a very, very Hollow Knight-ish experience of like seeing this object and thinking like, oh, this is this red object. I don't even know how much we want to spoil here, but it's just like you see a red object and you're like, that's a thing for later. And then figuring out kind of a few moments after that, like, no, that's a way I can actually just progress now. And then having this moment of like, I hate the dive in this game because of how finicky it can sometimes be. And also I'm playing on Switch too. So like the D-pad is not great. But then having this moment of like, okay, I think I've figured out how to do the dive effectively. And now I have it I've learned how to do the dive better because they have all these challenges for it. And then there was like a moment in a boss fight where I was like, I utilized the dash in the dive attack in a way that I wouldn't have if I hadn't completed all those challenges. So it made all the struggles of like having to do these platforming challenges with like the pogo kind of effect that I had to do with the dive. It kind of clicked, and that's when I was like, okay, this is kind of the experience that you want from this game of like not knowing where to go, dying right before a save point and not knowing it, right? And saying like, where is the save point? I have no idea how far they want me to go between these checkpoints, and then thinking like, oh, if I had just taken a left turn here instead of a right, I would have found a checkpoint. And then finally feeling like, okay, I can kind of like take a break and kind of rest. And that's, I think what this series has in spades is like this feeling of every time you venture out from the save point, like Dark Souls, like a bunch of other games, it feels like you are making an excursion into like unsafe territory. Yeah. And it's like you are kind of taking this risk on and moving further and further away from safety. And then finally finding another save point feels a lot better than it does in even like something like Elden Ring, where those were just everywhere. But here it feels like, okay, I have a lot. There's even some that you unlock, right? You have to pay money to unlock certain save points. And like the feeling they have like a whole ritual of like, okay, you pay money, then this bell comes out and it starts dinging. And then this save point comes out of the ground and says like, hey, okay, now you can rest here. And that's how I feel every time I find a save point. It's just like, okay, finally, I've made permanent progress. I can rest. I can like, start breathing again in some cases.
Yeah, I think it's just so funny to have like an avalanche of hype for this game and then to start it and it feels so simple. It's like I'm just jumping around with one attack. Like I worry people are going to be horrified by the simplicity of this thing once they jump in. If they're new to Hollow Knight and they just hear this is the best much ever, this is one of the greatest games ever, and they jump in, they're just like, I'm just running around and like stabbing bugs a little bit.
I was new to Hollow Knight because I never played the first one.
Ooh, okay.
And like, yeah, it was simple, but my first impression was, oh my God, this game is gorgeous. And all the character design is absolutely adorable. And the music is fire and the sound effects, just like everything is great. I streamed it for 3 hours and I was probably lost and didn't know what to do for like an hour of that, where I was just like not finding the part. I hadn't bought the maps yet, and then I couldn't figure out where I was on the map because I hadn't bought the compass yet. And just like, it should have been a terrible experience, and yet all I want to do is hang up right now and play more Silksong, because like I was getting it has so much that I shouldn't, that like should really annoy me.
Yeah.
And it was giving me like Rain World vibes, which like I tried to review when I was at GI, and I finally went to Joe Juba and was like, I can't do this. Like, find someone else to review it. I can write in impressions of why this game isn't for me, but and like a lot of that DNA is here, but it's clicking for me in a way that like I couldn't get over it for Rain World. And I think a lot of it is just, this game's adorable. Part of the reason I was not progressing for so long was because I wasn't attacking the enemies because they're so cute. I didn't want to hit the poor little villagers. Like, everyone is like, it's like, okay, you're having a bad time. Like, I'm just going to, and then I realized, oh no, they have the beads that I need to get these maps and stuff. But like, I have been really impressed. I am a little scared. When I stopped streaming, I did a raid on Mary Kish, who was playing.
Yeah.
And when we jumped to her stream, she was in the middle of a breakdown. She seemed like she was maybe like 2 hours later than me, and she was so upset. And I saw some of the stuff that she was dealing with, and I was like, oh man, I'm in for it. But like, even just being lost in that area, like, part of the thing that I think also helped is like, it has such a good sense of setting and atmosphere that if it felt like I was on a little adventure, even though I didn't know where I was going. Yeah. It wasn't just like, I wasn't seeing through the matrix of like this mechanical, like, I don't know what the next progression point is. It felt more organic, like I was actually exploring a place that I was interested in exploring and learning more about.
It's just pulling you back to your love of Super Metroid.
Not even that much. Like, it feels like its own different beast, just because the combat feels differently. I found those red things that Cyril was talking about, and also had that same experience of like, oh no, I can do this right now. It's kind of a shoot off of Metroidvanias that I probably wouldn't enjoy, but I am really enjoying this one. So I'm interested to see how that difficulty curve, treats me, but also like, I'm really looking forward to actually unlocking some other things, other moves and things like that. That'll give me a little more flexibility too.
I am nervous about our end of year conversations about this game, because it's hard. Like, it is. As I've beat Hollow Knight probably like 6 times, and I love hard games. Like, this is hard, and I don't know how much I have been stubbornly running into a boss that maybe you could find more things to like prepare you for elsewhere in the game, versus you just have to learn the boss's patterns and whatever. But like, I don't know how many other people on MinnMax like fighting hard bosses repeatedly, and so I'm kind of worried that we're going to reach the end of the year and it will be, like one of the biggest games of the year everyone else will have kind of checked out of.
Hey, you can't be scared of what December is going to bring. Let's just enjoy a good game while you have it, Jacob Keller.
Look, maybe this is another opportunity like Elden Ring for people who have not enjoyed difficult things in the past or this kind of difficulty, to be like, if it's couched in the right environment, if the game is giving me the right vibes.
Yeah.
Here we are. But like, not only are the bosses difficult, which they are, but like, you kind of have 2 kinds of currency in the game, and one of them you maintain through deaths, and the other one you leave at the place that you last died, and that one with the rosary beads you leave behind on death. And everything in the game costs rosary beads, and you will lose a lot of them, like heartbreaking amounts. You will have 100 in your pocket or 200, and you'll be like fighting a boss and forget to crack the cocoon before you die again or something. And it's like, it can be dispiriting in that way that Dark Souls games can be dispiriting of like, oh, fuck, all my souls were right there, man.
Yeah.
And again, it's like losing those is part of the experience. It doesn't mean you're playing it wrong, but it is often feels like an uncaring game in just like it will let you lose your resources.
And there's no difficulty options, right?
Not
I don't think so.
I found.
Okay.
But yeah, like I think you have to prepare someone in the same way you would for Dark Souls of like, yeah, there's going to be a learning curve that's going to be tough. You're like, you are supposed to try these bosses, more than, 4 or 5 times, like upwards of like dozens and stuff. But I think like Dark Souls, it also has like such a strong hook for like even people who get their ass kicked all the time where like, yeah, like Jeffin was saying, the world feels so, it finds like a really good middle ground between like kind of isolation of Metroid where you're like, okay, I'm just by myself. I'm exploring this like very lonely world and there being a lot of characters. And they have like, you can see some of it, some of the like little touches that, maybe it was because they spent so long on it. But like things, the way that every character just has this kind of like hum or like their own voice actor, but they're using kind of like Simlish-ish voices. Yeah. Like you can tell a character's nearby because they're singing basically most of the time. And there's like, early on you meet someone who's chanting because they want to open a door, right? And it seems very feeble. And it's basically like a meta joke about like having to come back and unlock a door from the other side. So then you go to the other side and she's like, see, my prayer opened this door.
Classic.
And there's like a ton of like thematic stuff as well, where like, there's a lot of conversation about faith here and like what people believe, and the fact that that impermanent currency is our prayer beads, and you can buy an item with 80 beads that is like a prayer, rosary basically, and that prevents those souls from being beads from being lost, right? And I'm hoping that they build on that. I'm guessing that they will, or even just like environmental stuff where like I was in an area where you kill ants and stuff, right? And so I killed a bunch of ants and I was like, I had like that kind of sixth sense of like, I think I left some currency back there a little bit. And I saw like an enemy's head and I thought it was, there's another enemy coming at me. But then I realized it is a bunch of tiny ants carrying the head of the enemy I had killed earlier. And that was just like, what am I supposed to do with that? That's incredible. that it's just like this minor touch that it actually did legitimately scare me of like, oh God, there's something there. And then it wasn't. And so there's just all this stuff there, and the world like just feels so well crafted, that even if you go back through it over and over again, die all the time, that it's like, you're getting something out of it every time.
Yeah. The basic moves and stuff, Jacob, you're talking about how different, the character is this time around.
Yeah, I just to go through some of these, because it's like, I think it's a really cool way of just like looking at how game design affects things. So like in Hollow Knight, when you struck enemies, you built up soul, and you could use that soul to heal yourself one blip at a time. And in Silksong, that same basic structure is there, but you have to hit the enemies more, and then you heal 3 all at once, and so that's kind of like, that changes the rhythm of combat, where you're not trying to find like tiny little moments. It's more like fight. Then there's this moment of healing. Same with in Hollow Knight, you just had a dash and an air dash. Cool, whatever. This has, as Suriel said, a sprint, which does the same thing in that it allows you to just cross a larger barrier or like a larger gap than before, because you can sprint jump. But it makes the character way more agile, and now you can use the sprint to like chase bosses down in a fight in a way that didn't exist in Hollow Knight. And Hollow Knight had a ton of pogoing, where you would just kind of like bounce on top of enemies. And that's still there in this game, but your pogo is now diagonal and it pops you up more. And so you can actually use it as more of a jump, but it's more difficult to target and especially more difficult to do repeatedly. And so it's just like all of these little changes that maintain the spirit of the first game, but like make you feel like you're playing a different character who just interacts with the world and combat differently in this like really cool way. You know, it's like, what I like about it is Hollow Knight does not, sometimes you play a sequel and you're like, this made the previous game redundant. You know, like, I'm never going back to the previous one. And I really don't feel that way with Silksong. It's more like, oh, I'm going to enjoy going back to Hollow Knight and playing a different feeling game set in the same world.
Right.
Yeah. It actually reminds me of Dishonored a lot. In that, like, the DLCs for Dishonored 1, you played as Dowd, and his teleport was different. All these kind of very, like, he would have like similar but different abilities where like it does the same thing, but it has this like slight nuance. And this is especially true of in Dishonored 2. There were two characters in that one. Like, they both have abilities that do the same thing. Like, Corvo has a teleport, and I think Emily, I forget what her name is. She has like more of like a hand that crawls and stuff, and that kind of pulls you to a location. And those are just different enough that you kind of have to play the game differently as both characters. And this feels kind of like that, where it's like, you are playing the same game ostensibly, but it is tweaked in these very noticeable ways that make it completely different. You know, like, you couldn't, like Jacob said, you couldn't swap Hollow Knight in for this and play the same game. Like, the platforming challenges are so specific, the jump arcs and stuff. And like, even her sprint, which it feels like, oh, now I can go faster. It is so fast that it is actually kind of hard to control. And like, you can do tricks with like, okay, her jump is diagonal when she is running, but then also like her attack, when you are coming out of a sprint, gives you like a backflip, and you can kind of use that to dodge certain attacks that normally you wouldn't be able to. So like, it has a way of making you notice its game design in these ways that make you feel very clever.
Yeah. It's sweet. I mean, even just like visually, you know, with so much hype about Hollow Knight, it was easy to jump in there after the fact and just be like, okay, you're starting out and it all just looks black and white and drab. But even just the simple thing of like, oh, this character has like red clothing on out of the gate and you're in like a mossy world. It's like, all right, this is a more approachable place to start than Black and White Town from Hollow Knight, you know, and just like the simple goal of get to the top.
You respect Black and White Town.
Sorry, I love Black and White Town.
They're doing their best.
Everyone's trying hard. All these bugs are singing hard for their money out here. Is the story stuff compelling for folks?
I'm curious with this being your first in the franchise.
I am intrigued. It's weird to have the first couple hours that you play be when you're streaming in front of an audience, because I can't, you know, like, I'm reading it out loud for Christ's sake, and I'm not.
And you're making like monkey sounds.
I like all of the themes. Like, every character I fall in love with because they're just adorable. And it is such a weird and interesting mix to have like these absolutely adorable little bug characters, and like, they're miserable and they're being tormented by their faith, and like I like the mix of like more serious thematic ideas that they're mixing with like this cute, adorable little world. And then every animation and everything that happens just feel like, it's like, this is the most epic thing I've ever seen, but my character is like this little tall and it's just so cute. I haven't delved too far into the lore or anything yet, but I'm, in terms of just like interesting world I want to spend more time in, it's definitely working for me.
It's definitely this is how I approach a lot of stories, but like, it's a vibes game more than a narrative game. You know, like, what's interesting about these worlds, at least on first playthrough until you really start reading the Hollow Knight history books, is like just kind of going to these places and being like, what happened here? You know, just like even that first town where it's just kind of like a bunch of kind of dispirited pilgrims who have all set up tents, and you're like, okay, I don't know, you know, these guys all seem like they're having a pretty bad time. And then you'll go other places and it's like, okay, this place has a ton of machinery in it. Like, what's it? Why? You know, what's all that doing? And so it's more, you know, it's not kind of like, 100 years ago, King Bug II, decreed. It's just kind of like a almost post-apocalyptic, at least in Hollow Knight 1, was just like there was a great civilization and now you're kind of in the ruins of it and just linger in that atmosphere for a while.
It's also very economical about where it does that. So like even the merchant where you buy maps and stuff, they give you these little marker beads that like you basically buy packs of things that you can mark on the map. And some of them are specific, like this will automatically mark save benches and stuff. But some of them are just like, here's a different kind of marker that you can use. And even those have like descriptions that are like, oh, I modeled these after my own kind of carapace. I hope when you use them, you think of me. And that is such like very dense flavor stuff where it's like you can kind of tell who this character is just by that description of just like they're kind of this very sing-songy like person, but they're also very strong because earlier they fight off enemies and stuff. But like having those descriptions tell you so much about a character just from like a simple sentence, I think is really well done. And so like the limited amount of dialogue that most characters have, I feel like they pick their words very carefully and you get a lot out of a little. And so like the amount of time, even just like 4 hours, there's like, that lady that was chanting is like, I hope I see her again. I've seen her twice already. And I hope like she becomes a recurring thing because like her song is very catchy. She has like, she looks very adorable. And so like they're really good at having these through lines, even if it's like you don't learn, or I haven't yet, like the entire story of that person chanting, right? But it's like they just show up enough to kind of put you like, here's beat A, beat B, beat C. And it's like, that is enough narrative to kind of keep you going, even if you're not totally drowning in the like, what happened, this many years ago? When am I going to fight regular Hollow Knight guy,
Right.
It's worth pointing out, in Hollow Knight 1, your character did not speak. And now Hornet is both quite talkative during combat in the sort of way, but also like has written dialogue and will converse with characters.
Yeah.
Like, you were always just being talked at in Hollow Knight. And so it's a cool change to have her be kind of a more active participant in the world.
And it's working for you. It's not a matter of like, okay, we didn't need this.
No, I think they're still keeping it like good and ambiguous enough. You're not getting lore dumps from characters. And in the same way, this game has way more explicit side quests than Hollow Knight 1 did. Like you get these things and a character will basically say like, give me 12 shells of this bug. But the way that they're delivered, where it's like new wish, you get like a wish from someone, and then you can do it, and they don't put a marker on the map. They're just kind of like, this is something that someone wants in the world, and it's nice because it helps you keep track of things a little bit more, but it still doesn't feel at all like it is at risk of like becoming a checklist game. So it's just kind of like they've incorporated more structure and in some ways more traditional storytelling methods in this, but really maintained the feeling of what made the first game special.
Sweet. It feels rare to have something with this much hype, at least opening hours, to have people being like, not letting us down one bit. It seems to be on a great trajectory. So I'm curious where the rest of the world lands, but obviously we'll talk more about this in the future. Hollow Knight Silksong. We're not done with you, buddy. Jacob, don't worry about the 210s. It's funny to think of you.
I'm not worried. I'm totally normal about that.
Okay, good. I mean, Hollow Knight Silksong is going to get dunked on hard, but other than that, don't worry about it. It's going to be good.
Look, I saw Janet saying that it had good sound design, and I was like, oh god, at least she likes part of it.
That's like when someone asks you, like, what do you think about this? And they're like, it's... I like the voice acting.
You look like you were having a great time out there.
The buttons did what you wanted them to do.
I mean, and also, I have no idea. Janet loves Metroid Dread, and that's another like super hard Metroidvania, so she might be in my corner. I don't know.
Unpredictable for sure. Hey, you need to maximize, Jeff, your time playing Hollow Knight Silksong. Am I right?
Absolutely.
And the last thing you want to be doing,
do?
I'll tell you what you do, buddy. The last thing you want to do is sit with your butt in the kitchen when you don't need to. And here to help you is Factor Meals, everybody. Factor Meals. They have chef-prepared meals delivered right to your door. Ding dong, chef-prepared meals? Don't mind if I do. But no, don't eat them yet. You gotta prepare them. Ugh, Jeff, this is gonna take forever. How do you... What do you got? Re-prepare this meal? Au contraire, my dear friend. You just have to go to the microwave, 2 minutes in the microwave, a beautiful meal. You eat it and you say mwah at the end of it, and then you're right back to Hollow Knight. Guaranteed.
Wow, there are so many sound effects that have been added to this ad read.
It's like I'm eating right now.
They should be paying us extra.
There are 65 weekly meal options, more variety, more meals. You can support your wellness goals. They have very diet-approved meals available for you there. The Mediterranean diet is an option for you. And they have healthy choices. 97% of customers say that Factor helped them live a healthier life. I get that. I have a Factor meal. I feel good about the meal I ate. You know, I don't feel disgusting. 2 meals in the microwave, it'll make you feel good, and it's damn good. We want to keep them around because they're a good supporter. So you can eat smart at factormeals.com/MinnMax50 off and use code MinnMax50 off, the number 50, to get 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. That's code MinnMax50 off at factormeals.com for 50% off your first box plus free breakfast for 1 year. Get delicious, ready-to-eat meals delivered with Factor. Only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Factor Meals, everybody, check out the link below if you want great meals ready to go, microwavable, and damn good. Damn good, just like a game that should not be overlooked. There's this Hollow Knight Silksong. There's this other game that came out called Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I would argue this game is damn good. Now, we talked about Ninja Gaiden Ragebound a couple weeks ago, and we talked a little bit about Shinobi then, about being like, oh, isn't it funny that these two ninja games are coming out very close together? And Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, hell of a game. Jacob, you said on last week's podcast that you preferred Shinobi slightly. Are you still in that camp?
If I had to pick one, and they're different beasts, and they're both great, but yeah, I had been sleeping on Shinobi, and like even I feel like it was one of those things where I guess I had watched a trailer, but like the art style is so gorgeous in a way that I felt like seeing it on, you know, it's like everything ran through kind of YouTube compression, looks a little bit worse, and particularly something like this where all the details are these like fine brushstroke sort of things. Like as the second I booted it up, I was like, oh my god, what have I been doing not paying attention to this?
Yep.
We got codes for both games pretty much at the same time, and you know, I'm a Ninja Gaiden guy, so I was like, yeah, give me Ninja Gaiden. And Hanson was like, you want to try Shinobi? And like, it did not look interesting to me, and part of that was like the combat being more involved in terms of like
combos and stuff.
Everybody's got a health bar that you have to kind of like there's more substantial fighting to it. And when I started it, holy lord, like still really like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, but this is blowing it out of the water in terms of like, and the big reason is the combat that I was worried about. Like, turns out it's super satisfying, and they just keep building on it. And every new power that they give you, just like, I'm gonna get a tan from my Steam Deck when I'm like setting off the Ninpo arts, and it's so just blasting me with like fire animations. It is such a gorgeous game.
Oh my god.
And just another action platformer. Like this game needed a longer time before Silksong came out to just like bask in accolades.
Yeah, it should be getting 3 rounds of people being like, hey, you know what's really good is Shinobi, and now it'll be like at the end of the year, be like, there was this game called Shinobi Art of Vengeance, please don't forget about it.
It could not be more different than Hollow Knight too, in terms of like, yes, there's backtracking in both, and it's like a platformer with combat, but it's like almost on every dial of what that formula means, it just seems like these two games are opposing, whereas like, you know, the combat in Hollow Knight is relatively simple compared to Shinobi, where you have like, you know, 6 or 7 different techniques that you could be doing at any one time, and like the backtracking is so streamlined to the point where it's like there's a part of me that actually prefers this to the way it works. It's like Metroidvanias without the where do I go?
Yes,
because it's
surreal. Yes, what all Metroidvania should be.
Because it's like you see a thing, it's like very obvious, like here's a wall that it just has like, I don't know, some chemical on it or something, and then for like immediately, like I'll come back to that. But it's also level based in that, like, okay, to get back to this part of the map, I just need to remember that it's level 2, not like, okay, here's the section where this is all laid out and this is the big like climbing section.
You can teleport to basically anywhere in the level at any time.
Yeah.
It is like the perfect palate cleanser of just like, you just want to go in and just like rough up a bunch of dudes with like the most extreme, like finishing moves, and you chain 5 of them together or whatever, and you get a bunch of rewards, and there's just this big hulking mech that you have to kill. And it feels like, I thought they were, okay, this is the tool set. Like there were at least 3 or 4 different times where I was like, okay, this combat loop is really coming together. And then they'd be like, what if we added another layer? And I was like, yes, please. I can't believe how could I have thought that this game was complete without this element to it? It just feels like, pacing wise, the exact opposite, where it's just a constant thrill light of just adrenaline the entire time. But there's just enough of the like, oh, I see an opening there, I'm going to go in and like check that out. Okay, it's blocked off. I immediately know I'll be back later. I don't have to like wander around looking like, should I go here or here? It's always just like A or B. And yeah, it's like, it looks gorgeous. Like the combat feels so good. It's about as close to like 2D Devil May Cry as I've played in a long time, and I'm having a ton of fun with it.
Yeah, they let you juggle the bosses in this game. Like so many of the moves pop your enemies up in the air, and then you have so many air combos. And I'm like, well, this is cool on a lackey, but like I'm gonna get to a big guy and none of this will work. No, you can do it on the final boss. You can be like juggling guys in the air. It's so cool.
There's even like a benefit to like it being 2D over 3D in terms of like Devil May Cry stuff, because it feels like you are more kind of able to do the kind of the trickier stuff earlier. Whereas like in Devil May Cry, like you're kind of intimidated by the idea of like, this is a forward, back, Y kind of technique, and this will like change your spacing. But when you only have like the 2 planes to worry about, it's like, okay, I know I have like an air move that is like light heavy, and that does a spin move. And then when they land, I know because of it being 2D that they're going to be in a position for me to do like another combo that I learned earlier. And you're unlocking them in the same way that you do in Devil May Cry, where it's like you buy them, so you're kind of zeroing in on learning one technique at a time.
Right.
But whichever technique is most interesting to you. Of like, that sounds cool. I bet I'll use that. And then you use it for a little while and then you can buy another technique. So it feels like it is so hyper aware of what players want out of these games. And it feels like it is just feeding me everything that I want to do at the exact moment that I'm like, okay, I'm good with, what I have for now. I'll just kind of, I'll spin my wheels for a little bit, and then like right then is when you get like a cool new thing or some weird boss comes at you. And yeah, I was really, really surprised by it, especially because it felt like we're getting 4 Ninja games this year or something, and all of them seem to be pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. Yeah, I was in that same camp where it's like every boss that I've fought so far has been aggressively fair. Just kind of like every death, I was like, that's 100% on me. I'm feeling that so much. When you talk about how MinnMax is broken because we all just need to grind it out on 2D challenging games more, Jacob, this is where I'm spending all of my ammo on that, because this is like, this rules. I am so compelled to keep going in this, and it has just that extra layer of complexity compared to Ninja Gaiden, which I like Ninja Gaiden Ragebound a fair bit as well, but just that idea of like, okay, it's more than just kind of straightforward levels. There is a little bit of backtracking if you want it, and then it's also changing up the pace a little bit more. Where like the second level, you're just running on a giant wolf, this incredible looking field and dodging things. Like, all right, this looks amazing here. Just more variety here.
Yeah, it's interesting given that like I feel like Shinobi has a reputation of like, at least the PS2 game would always top lists of like, this is the most difficult game ever made. The PS2 Shinobi, and this one is it is eminently more approachable than Ragebound, or maybe even Hollow Knight, even with the complexity of the combat, just because like it is pretty nice to you, like enemies will give you back health. Checkpoints are generous. You get abilities where you can like regain health in the middle of the fight. Yeah. It is. I think this is a really good one for like, you can do the really cool feeling stuff without having to spend hours and hours getting good at it. You know, you will feel good playing the game immediately, and the game will not hold you to perfection in order to move forward.
Yeah, I think it's also notable that like this game doesn't really, because I had played Nine Souls recently, and like this is very similar to that in some ways, but I think crucially it's not built around parries.
Not a parry game.
So like instead of like the thing that parries do to combat, it's like you're just kind of waiting for the moment where you're supposed to parry to happen. Where you run your game plan until something kind of forces you to snap out of it, right? So like the bosses will like take damage and stagger, but eventually they're going to do a move while you're attacking them. That okay, now I have to roll for a little bit and figure out like whatever. But it's like backwards in terms of pacing, where it's like the moment that boss fight starts, you just run at them and like throw everything you can at them. And then at some point they're going to do a thing that you either dodge or have already evaded or whatever, instead of like, okay, I need to wait for them to come to me, and they will do the thing that gives me the opening. And like both this and kind of Hollow Knight to some extent, I know that game has a parry, but it's like there are games where you are kind of forced to approach in a way that you're not in like a game where that is built around parries, but Shinobi is like so much more noticeable because there are so many more things to do.
Yeah, and just you talk about feeling cool out of the gate. It's not that deep into the game until you just unlock the ability to pop a super move, and it is just full going Super Saiyan. It is like as Super Saiyan as I've ever seen in a non-Dragon Ball game of Joe, of course, the classic character from Shinobi, is like, and then just everyone lights on the screen on fire. It is so satisfying.
Yeah, and like the thing I love about that is that I had multiple moments where it's like, okay, they introduced the new big bad or whatever. It's like, here's a guy with his shield. Yes. And it's like you pull that off of them and you're like, surely it's not going to, kills them too. Okay, yes. All right. I guess that thing really is the most powerful attack ever made in a video game.
It's so
I really like that there is a story and the characters talk to you, and I don't think it's not amazing, but it doesn't get in the way. But they will frequently, they'll like say things to Joe, and then it will cut to Joe, and he'll just go, and it'll be like ... And it's like he's a silent protagonist, but they give him room to be silent in every conversation.
And then like half the reactions are just like, all right, moving on.
I mean, yeah, all you need for the story of Shinobi here is like the opening scenes. It's like Joe walking away from his hot pregnant wife, and then just a lot of characters saying dialogue like, or setups like, Joe knew that if he didn't stop Ruse and the ENE Corporation, there'd be nothing left on Earth to save. All right, cool. I got it. The excuse to keep doing these sweet action scenes. Got it. Let's keep on rolling, baby. Yeah.
And like Joe is just basically a character from ActRaiser where all of his voice lines are like, whoa. Oh.
And the boss design, I think it might be Ruse, but one of the guys, super ripped. He's got his sleeves rolled up, and they're punched through a full jacket, but the arms are ripped off of the jacket. It's the most absurd character design.
Is he the one who also just has the sword coming out of his chest, or is that a different guy?
I can't remember. He might be, but yes, it's great. It has a vibe.
It has a vibe, and we can't say enough about the looks. I mean, I'm playing on Steam Deck, so small screen, and still it is.
Oh yeah,
gorgeous.
Perfect Steam Deck game.
Yeah, it's fantastic on there. But yeah, it's the developers are Lizard Cube, who made that Wonder Boy remake. If you remember those.
Yeah, well, and they made Streets of Rage 4.
Streets of Rage 4, yeah, and the last Turtles Brawler and stuff. Yeah, they've just been.
Which also, this game has a great soundtrack, as is kind of traditional for them now.
Yeah,
they picked a good one to do their remake.
Yeah.
And same with Ninja Gaiden. Like they. When did these old, legacy companies start getting smart about who they hire to make their revival games?
You're right. Maybe it's just at this point there's so many indie teams out there, just development teams, period, that's like, all right, we're just going to play the numbers. Like, we'll just pick which team has knocked out of the park. Blasphemous developers, here you go. Like you've risen through the system.
I mean, and it's the thing that we all kind of want to happen, and I hope it pays off for them, because it is a really crowded year. But it's like, just instead of making one game that costs $150 million, make 15 games that cost $15 million. Give it to like small, capable teams and just like let them do something. And if it doesn't hit, it doesn't torpedo your entire company.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And I hope that both Shinobi and Ninja Gaiden are finding audiences. I know I can be criticized for using this metric too much, but like Steam reviews, they don't seem like they're juggernauts so far based on just that number, but you never know. I hope they continue to find an audience because this freaking rules. Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I think the takeaway is like don't doubt Kelsey Lewin ever. Because remember, like at SGF, she's like, "This is my game of the show." And it's like, Shinobi, really? And then even like when we were talking about the podcast, and I was like, "I think it's just straightforward action. It's not a Metroidvania." She's like, "I think there's some Metroidvania elements." I'm like, "I don't think so, Kelsey." I was looking on their site; they didn't mention it, but like, yeah, it turns out there are very
you really
light,
mansplained the hell out of
I really did.
Wow.
I really blew it. But also, I also love the amulet system. I think it's a cool idea to have like your passive amulet you can equip, and then the combo amulet, where like as long as you have a hit combo rolling, this amulet will be in effect. But then the second that gets shattered, then that bonus is going away. It's like just little design choices.
Which that has always been a little pet peeve of mine, is the way that some action games will have a combo meter that means nothing.
Right.
And it's just like, oh yeah, you have a 75 hit combo. It's like that you just allowed me to do that, and it's like that's not impressive because I don't understand the scale of it. But like having a thing like it's like the Batman Arkham games where it's just like once you have this much of a combo, you can actually start doing more stuff. And so I think that making that a relevant thing in combat, I think is actually really cool.
Yep, for sure. Shinobi Art of Vengeance. Don't overlook it, everybody. If you like Hollow Knight, you'll love Shinobi Art of Vengeance. If there is a god. And it turns out there is a god, and his name is Mizuguchi. Lumines Arise. It's not coming out till November, but we've been playing that demo, which you can't get access to anymore. But this is the same team that made Tetris Effect. They are doing to the Lumines series, which they were also involved in the creation of, obviously. They're doing that with Lumines. Does that make sense? So we talked about it a little bit like last week, and it was like, hey, this is great. They're making another Tetris Effect feeling game. Nothing better than that. But then after that podcast last week, I just kept going back and playing that demo again and again and again. And like at this point, I think Lumines Arise is my most anticipated game for 2025 here. Like that.
Oh, dude, yeah, this is like my Silksong. Like I played that demo, and now it's just like every moment. Like despite how good these two games are, like I didn't have like a super like strong front runner for game of the year, and like in the last week, I think I've played 3, and like I do think that like Lumines Arise might be my favorite one of them. Just like having that one demo, it just like I played that demo twice, and like the second time, I just had a thought that stuck with me of like, I think this game made a wish come true for me.
Yeah.
Of just like a very simple puzzle mechanic that is just like, every time I play Lumines, I'm like, I should just be able to separate these two colors. Like there's always that, like if only all of these were one color, I would just do whatever I want. And then like this game gives me exactly that. And it feels like, oh, you tapped into the exact best thing you could have done to Lumines.
Yes.
In a way that it feels so magic every time you do it. And it's like you figured out another way to kind of like turn this entire game on its head.
Yes.
And it works better for Lumines because it doesn't feel like Tetris sometimes feels like this very sacrosanct like thing of like you have to kind of play by the rules of Tetris, and Tetris has like a certain thing that like a certain set of rules that you always have to play by, like the number of rotations and stuff. Whereas Lumines, it's not as established as a puzzle game. So doing something like that and totally like breaking it doesn't feel like it. Oh, well, now I'm not really playing Lumines anymore because it's like, what does that even mean? And I haven't been able to stop thinking about Lumines Arise since I played that demo. And when I figured out you can't play it anymore, I was like, Mark, what did you do to me? Why are you doing this to me?
It's Mark McDonald, if somebody didn't understand that Mark reference. But no, I'm totally with you where it's like, the burst mechanic is that whole idea of like, all right, you're making a big square, then you pop it. And then when you drop more pieces of the same color, the pieces that you don't want there fly off. So it's like this weird thing of just like, it snowballs how good it feels. And Serial, stick with me on this one. There's something interesting happening in game design where it's like reviving old ideas from older series, but then just making them as satisfying as humanly possible. You know, like this burst mechanic, I think is in that same camp, but it made me think of like Pac-Man Championship DX, which I know you're a big fan of as well. But like, hey, we all like Pac-Man. What if you just got 100 ghosts lined up behind you, then you just go and you just eat them all? You know, it's like there's some magic in that design of just take something time tested from the past and then bring it forward and ratchet it up to 1,000.
Yeah, there's a surprisingly long lineage of that with like there's the Pac-Man games and then there's the Space Invaders Extreme series.
Right.
And there's like a handful of like arcade style games that they've kind of gone back to and said like, what if we could just iterate on this without making like feeling the impetus to like, let's totally make it like a modern game and, put Pac-Man in some sort of world or something. And it's just like, let's just kind of go back
like
to the
new
drawing board.
Pac-Man game.
Yeah, but Pac World 2 is cool. Pac World 2 repack is going to be great. There's no doubt about
it. But like, yeah, you're definitely right that there's kind of like a small undercurrent of like that. And like, what was that rhythm game that they made with like the Space Invaders theming? Not Infinity Gene. There was another one. There was like a rhythm game. But yeah, there's definitely like this undercurrent of like, let's take this old arcade game and kind of like just kind of fiddle with it.
Yeah, in just the right way. Yeah, like, you talk about this is your dream game in some ways, Storio. Like, when I was playing this, Lumines Arise, I was like, this, as a kid, I think this is what I wanted the future of games to be. Just like put all of the effort into just the style and the way it makes you feel when you're playing it, even if the design can just be as clear as humanly possible.
Yeah, and there's even just like the way that they're, so like when you get like the four square, like the 2x2 in Luminous, usually it just kind of flattens that block. Right. But in this game, they're just doing all these different like shapes are just suddenly in the middle of your field. And it just looks very weird. And there's like a 3D, chameleon like on the edge of the screen, constantly like flipping its tongue out every time you do something cool. And the way they use the scan line in the burst mechanic to kind of tell you like, okay, you have this many left to kind of just go nuts, I think is such like they really do meaningfully iterate on it. And I think you can kind of trace this back to like, them also partially being responsible for Luminous and stuff, and seeing someone else go back to that drawing board again, I think is very interesting to see like, okay, with this amount of time removed, it feels like they're just picking up where they left off, but then also following in the lineage of Tetris Effect.
Yeah. And like I started playing it, and it's one of those things where my headphones were like, they're dialed up a little bit too loud. I said, my ears are kind of hurting. I was like, no, this is the game to make your ears hurt with headphones on. Like, I just need to blast it because this music, just in the 3 levels, the music is already like exactly what I wanted from it. But yeah, coming out November. The one thing is like Tetris, it's in our blood if you're a Jeffem or a me or most gamers. And so like I enjoyed the challenge later on in Tetris Effect. Like the last level in the story mode is like, all right, that kind of, that'll get me every once in a while. And like my Lumines skills are just dirt. And so I do worry like, okay, later on in this game, am I just going to get ground into the dirt? Or can I hopefully build up my skills in time with that story mode where it's gonna scale naturally?
Yeah, and I feel like I hopefully will go through the same arc I did with Tetris Effect, where it's like I was okay at Tetris before Tetris Effect, but I'm kind of still on like the kind of long tail journey of just like double S ranking every level in Luminous or in Tetris Effect on like the hardest difficulty. And I feel like I've just become a much better Tetris player since Tetris Effect came out. And I'm hoping that, I can really take another look at Luminous and feel like, okay, what is it like to actually be really good at this game?
Right.
And level up that way. But yeah, like I know that Luminous is not as like a revered puzzle game as Tetris, rightfully so. But yeah, I feel like people are again sleeping on this game, and it's like, Luminous deserves this treatment. Maybe not as much as Tetris, but don't dismiss it completely just because it's not Tetris.
Yep. Lumines Arise coming out November, so we still got some time here to practice your Luminous skills, of course. Jacob Geller, you have something very important to talk about, but before you get to that, we'll probably talk about it more in the future. Kyle has finished at this point, but we should touch on Cronos, the New Dawn a little bit. From Bloober team, who just are hot off the presses of the Silent Hill 2 remake, and the shorthand is this is their Dead Space, and you're not that far in it.
I'm about as far as I'm gonna be in it, I think. But yeah, probably an hour and a half.
Okay, and your take on Cronos: The New Dawn is
It's tough because there's a lot of stuff going on that I like. I think that just calling it Bloober's Dead Space diminishes how interesting the setting that they've made is, which is this really kind of unique Soviet something. It's not even really clear if it's like on this planet or like what. There are a lot of mysteries that I'm interested in. And I think that like the world design and the kind of like world setting is really cool. But for me, it is just like the combat is bad enough that I just don't want to be doing it. You know, like it's just kind of when Janet was on talking about Cronos a couple weeks ago, I was like, does it have a thing, you know, where like Resident Evil 4, at least you can shoot the guys and then kick them. Dead Space, you can shoot off their limbs, then you can throw their limbs at him. The answer is no. You just shoot the enemies until you die, or until they die. But like, it's harder than it should be for the combat being that simple. And there's like, you don't really have that many avenues available to you, but the ammo is really limited. And so often you'll just kill yourself in a combat scenario because you're like, I'm not getting through this. They didn't give me enough bullets that I can get through it without hitting every headshot perfectly. And so it's just kind of like, it feels like work, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think their thing was like, hey, these enemies merge and join forces on the ground, but that's not helping them in its minute gameplay when you're taking them down.
That's a thing that the enemies do, but it's not something that you do.
Right.
And you don't have anything. You have a gun that can charge up a shot, and like that's it. And it's just
first hour and a half, to be fair, but yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And what I've heard is you get more guns that you can charge up a shot for. You know, and so it's
Sure.
like I think there's a lot of cool stuff. Ashley Bardhan had a positive and a well-written review for Games Radar of this. So like, I think there's cool stuff to be found, but in a gaming landscape where there are so many things to play, I don't think I'm pushing myself to finish this one.
Okay, Cronos, you're done. We'll get Kyle's take when he jumps on. He'll correct the record after this slander.
Yeah. Which is funny because I think this game has been kind of divisive, like not like super divisive, but I feel like I've seen kind of a variety of like, I really like this and like, this isn't, this is not great, but like, it's kind of interesting that we get one of those as well. So like, I'm kind of fascinated by the idea of playing it just because it's like, okay, if everyone's kind of like split on it, you know, maybe I should check it out and see what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, I love that they made something like, it feels way more original than like Layers of Fear or something. Mm-hmm. And so like, I'm happy with the direction that they're going. This one just wasn't working for me.
Yeah.
Sure.
What was working for you before you and Serial clap out of here though is a new way to experience your book, Jacob Geller?
That's right, Ben. So earlier this year, I made a book with Lost and Colt. They called How a Game Lives, which is an annotated essay collection with my writing, a bunch of other people's writing. And I love that. And the book came out and it is the Lost and Colt brand is really like boutique and premium and expensive. And they are in the UK. So getting things shipped is expensive. And now I'm very excited to announce that HarperCollins, the publisher, is doing a reprint of How a Game Lives. And what that means is that you can just get it from normal book places now. So if you have a local bookstore and you want to get How a Game Lives, you can request your local bookstore to get it. If you have a library, almost all libraries have request forms. And so you can just say, I would like you to pick up this book, and they probably will. So it's just like it's a more accessible way to read my book, and I'm really proud of it, and I think it's really pretty, and it will be pretty in the HarperCollins version as well. And so go ask your library to get it, or ask your local bookstore to put in an order for you.
Sweet, How a Game Lives. There it is. Jacob Geller, thank you. Serial Vasquez, thank you. Anything you'd like to plug, Serial?
Not right now, but maybe sometime soon.
Interesting. What a tease. Sweet. All right. You two want to clap out of here? We'll get some new fresh faces in.
Bye.
Sure. Bye.
This party just got
How synced
started,
are we?
folks.
How synced are we?
Oh, you are magically synced in. We have Sarah Podzorsky joining us.
Hello.
We have Haley McLean joining us. And we have Noah's Ark, ladies and gentlemen. First time on a podcast, Noah's Ark. I'm just kidding. Leo's here too.
Hi, can we get serious for a moment?
Yeah, sorry, man.
I went to a Jeff Rosenstock and Pup show last night, and a MinnMax fan said Leo Vader, and I didn't hear what he said, and I said, what? And the what that came out of my mouth was the most, like, why are you talking to me? What in the I've ever given in my life? I didn't know I had
do you want to role play? Do you want to role play? I'll be the person.
Yeah.
Leo Vader from MinnMax?
What? It was horrible. I went up to my seat. I was like, how am I going to get back in the headspace to enjoy this show? They rushed through the interaction. I feel so bad. I'm so sorry to that person. I was happy that you said hello to me. I was just caught off guard and I couldn't redeem it in time. So I had to put out a public apology, misconnection style.
Getting in front of the controversy.
I will like unplug the amps and speakers and be like, hey, I have an announcement to make here real quick.
I have an apology I need to make.
There was an awkward exchange a little while ago. How does that rank with this awkward slammer? Where I went to my favorite restaurant, Lian Shin in Minnesota here, only the finest Chinese food. And I was like, oh, I'll take 3 cream cheese wontons. And he's like, okay. And then he yelled, 19 cream cheese wontons? And I was like, ha, yeah, right. And then it turns out he was yelling to the chef in the back that they needed more cream cheese wontons. But I thought he was making the joke that I was ordering 19 loudly. And I wanted to crawl out of my skin and die.
Like he was announcing it to the entire restaurant.
It's like
look at this guy and his 19 cream cheese wontons.
Right.
Fatty getting
So from his perspective, he just ordered more cream cheese wontons to be cooked, and then I laughed obnoxiously in his face. It was
oh my God, mine was, I was at a restaurant called Oh My God, and I was getting fish and chips, of course, and so I the guy said, do you want cod or haddock? And I go, what would you recommend? And he went haddock. And I went, should be called Oh My Haddock. And he gave me absolutely nothing. He was like, and I was like, cod, please. It was the worst. Everyone at my table just looked at me. I think it was my birthday. I was just like, God damn it. It was the worst.
He was wrong for that one.
Yeah.
And it was probably end of a shift. He doesn't want to talk to me. I get it. But come on, he handed me an easy layup.
Or every single guest says that.
Maybe that restaurant doesn't exist anymore, so yeesh.
Yeah, but,
Wasn't worth it.
Who needs restaurants when you can start your own grocery store? Am I right, Haley McLean?
Hell yeah, you sell fish, a lot of fish actually in that grocery store, so perfect segue.
Thank you. This is Discounty, a new game from Crinkle Cut Games, and the publisher, say it with me everybody, P-Cube.
P-Cube.
So Haley, you did my favorite thing ever, other than World Peace, where you jumped in the Slack and you're like, hey, I'm playing Discounty, it rules, more people should play it. Don't overlook this one. How'd you find this little sim game?
This is Sarah, I think, like most things that are good.
Interesting.
I'm pretty sure I've been on this podcast before, and I'm like, okay, guys, Discounty. That's the game we're waiting for.
Really?
It's gonna be huge. Yeah, no, I've been like looking forward to this game for like years.
Yeah, I think when we were on the Wholesome Direct together, you said this game looks fire, and then I wishlisted it, and then it came up in my, Steam as this game just came out, and I was like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah. So what grabbed you about it, Haley? What turned you around in a big way on it?
I want ominous vibes. I want, what the hell? Like, I've played a lot of farming sims, and I'm kind of getting too good at them. I'm kind of min-maxing them.
Oh.
Ben, do the thing you always do when someone says min-max.
What do I do?
Stupid mouth.
Your stupid mouth thing.
I lap up. I lap up the enjoyment. That's right. I forgot to lap. I forgot to lap.
Not that, I'll still play I recently replayed Stardew Valley, just put another 30 hours into Fields of Mystria, thanks, Sarah. I'll still always play them, but it's very refreshing to be like, oh, do the thing, do your daily routine that's very mentally satisfying, but there's this underlying level of dread that I can't quite get a hang on that kind of keeps me like, oh, what the? It's like more of the long term, I really want to play this to figure out what's going on, and then the day-to-day gameplay is just as good as other farming sims, so that I'm just like, let's keep going.
Yeah, even though it is a shopkeeping, stocking shelves type gameplay, which is a little different, but obviously in the same wheelhouse. Yeah. I'm 4 hours in, and it's ominous, not just in creepy things are happening, but people don't want you in their town.
They don't like you, yeah.
It's a very different vibe that I'm used to.
It's like your Joja Mart from Stardew Valley.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
The good people.
So it's a vibe Hanson's used to.
Yeah, this is my home turf, I like to call it. Yeah. So you're managing this little shop, and then it's a lot of cash register work. It seems to be the main thing. A lot of punching in those numbers.
Yeah, the numbers thing is
that?
satisfying, I kind of thought. I had a friend who worked at a grocery store growing up, and it was like a game between us, and I'd be like, bananas, and she was like, 11243. Like, she knew every code for every like food item in the entire grocery store because they would just type them in. And I was low-key like feeling like her a little bit during this because I'd just be like, milk is $9, 9 times 3. And I was like doing that really well. It does upgrade later on, so you have barcodes. So then it's like, any protein you press downward, any home good stuff like toilet paper you press to the left, and it expedites it a lot.
Okay.
But they let you do the typing in code thing for enough time that it felt like I got really good at that, but it was still taking me a long, like once the store got really crowded, I was like, oh crap, like trying to ring everyone through even though I was good at it. So then when I got the scanner, I was like, oh hell yeah. And that was equally as fun to do as well and like master by just like seeing what's coming up on the till and already knowing what directions I have to put it in like before it's even showing up so that you're just like pew, 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 like going through it really fast. It's a very good mechanic.
They really figured out the perfect balance of the busy work that you have to do but not making it so complicated that it's annoying. Like all of you order stuff, the truck comes in, you have to like figure out where to put it. It's got a little Wilmot's Warehouse vibe to it. If you played that back in the day of like my stockroom is too small. Like how am I going to arrange all these boxes so that I can run through this little maze and grab the stuff that I need and get it back out onto the floor? And just like it, like I love farming games for that kind of, you can't do everything that you want in a day. And you have to run home to sleep and then get up and do it the next day. But here, like it has that cycle as you're doing the day, like as you're doing your shift, and then as soon as it ends, there's like the restocking the entire store like vibe to it, and now I have like a display that's going to make animal goods sell better. So like, how am I going to rearrange like basically the entire shop? I have to now move stuff all around in order to figure out a nice little layout that works, and that will get people to see the stuff that they're going to buy, even though that they don't actually want it, but they saw the sign for it. It's just a very satisfying little loop that they have built.
Yeah, you really do implement like corporate strategies for getting people to spend the maximum amount of money in your store. Like put the things that people always buy at the back, and then on the way there have 4 or 5 little things that are like they get like a little eye icon when they get distracted because you'll have like a big fake cow next to the milk and cheese, and you'll have an aquarium next to all the fish products, and it'll make them go and buy that even if it's not on their list. And then the other thing is you can get a little coffee thing that makes them speedy for a little bit so they do their shopping even faster. So I put the coffee right in the lobby, and then even the grandma was like usually it takes her 20 minutes to do everything. She was zooting around, getting all her stuff, buying 10 extra things, and then leaving. And you do see like double the profits if you just take the time to set it up that way in a very corporate weird. Like the whole thing is you feel kind of gross while you play this game, which I think they want you to feel that way of just like, oh, I'm a corporate goon. This sucks. Like the little old lady's just like, what have you become? And I'm like, oh God, it's true. I'm evil.
She really kills you. And that first, like it's not a huge spoiler, I guess, but like you upgrade the store the first time, and she's always the first one in your store, and she's always super nice. And the first time she walks in, she's like, you destroyed Dale's legacy because you took over like the shop that was next door. And she's like, you destroyed Dale's legacy for a convenience store? Like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, oh my God. Like,
and then she doesn't come
terrible
anymore.
Yes, and then she stops coming in.
And you're like, oh.
The entire town gets on you about that too, right? Mm-hmm. Like, the whole thing is like looking at it, you're basically like a Dollar Tree coming into this tiny town, and like taking away all the business, and like everyone's coming to your store. But at the same time, you're like making deals with the locals. So like you're trying to push like local products as you meet the different townspeople. You have like, somebody who's like a farmer, and you're like, will you consider like selling cheese or something like that, or selling dairy or anything like that? And the fish person over like the weird fish sticks, which are highly processed. So you're like I'm like trying to push the local products so I feel better. I'm like, oh, like organically grown, like don't buy the frozen garbage, like try this. But what's so interesting about this game is it tells the story via like chapters, which is weird for any kind of like slow life management RPG experience, in that like there is like story progression. as the game goes further and further, there is like an underlying sort of like plot that's going on.
Yeah.
That gets slowly revealed, which I haven't really experienced much of in those kind of games. I just wish I got to manage my store more. I feel like the store management feels so short to me. Like, and they speed up time when you're managing your store because they're like, oh, nobody wants to play this part. And I'm like, I do. I could do this for hours. Just like restock my shelves and like clean the floor and like check people out.
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to it being a twist where you are not well liked in the town, but I feel like that makes this type of game go down a little smoother, and this one hasn't really clicked with me yet. And it might just be right game, wrong time type of thing where at a different point it'll click with me totally. But as it is right now, it's like the pitch is so exciting to me of managing the shop and making the deals with the townspeople, right? Of like the fishermen getting the fish every Monday morning, the new fish shipment comes in and you can sell fresh fish. But then in practice, that gameplay is like just running straight down for 30 seconds to get to the place and then pressing A. And everybody has their skill tree that you're kind of leveling up, but they're all mostly the same. They're all pretty like generally like this will happen for less money and you'll get more money out of it. There's not really like decision points there that I found so far.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's cute. Managing the shop is my favorite part. But I do find in games like that where you normally have like too much to do and you have to rush home in time. In this game, I'm like going to bed early a lot. And I am still relatively early in the game, but I'm like out of things I want to do. When I could be technically going and talking to more people, it's like conversations have all been kind of a bummer so far. So I don't know if I'm really...
Yeah, if you don't have that charm to kind of pull you along.
Have you discovered like the highlighted items that you're supposed to interact with?
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of, because it's like
that
there's
is a good
like
way to do
little,
it.
there's like little side stories that you can experience where like you help out people in the town and like you further like their personal stories in a way. But like I find it a little difficult because you do just have to like, oh, I didn't notice that coffee cup was glowing, but I went into this building and I checked it out. So you kind of have to like check in on everyone to be like, okay, like, is there like anything I'm missing that I haven't seen yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there, like, the progression of it is a little weird. I definitely hit a patch probably, like 5 or 6 hours in where it's like I was doing a lot of days in a row and wasn't making much progress just because of like what my specific objectives were at the time. I was waiting to like build up, certain resources or whatever. And they're just kind of like, I was spinning my wheels for a little bit longer than I would have liked. But then I think I got to like the new chapter and like things changed and the store changed and there were big events and that kind of got me back on board more again for it. So I can see that, Leo, for sure.
I ended up finishing it actually. Like I saw credits. It took long enough, I thought, but I think my complaint with this game though is that it really felt like the ending was such a flop. Like I was kind of upset about the ending. Yeah, up to that point, it was so fun, and I was having such a good time with the main core game thing. And once you hit credits, there's absolutely no incentive to keep playing. It's a story game. I get it, but I still was like, oh, I want to keep doing my store, but I have absolutely zero reason to do so now, so I won't, I guess, and just like turned off the game forever. And then the other thing was like there's this ominous vibe, there's a bunch of these like pseudo mystery things that are happening, and then the ending is kind of just like nothing. I don't want to spoil it. Nothing gets resolved really, that to a point that I was like, what? Like nothing. It just kind of ended. And it almost kind of felt like cut content or something energy to me, or like some other really big grand like final thing happens. And then that happens. There's even some other instances where like one character would lead up this whole vibe of like, oh, I bet I see where this is going. And then at the end, she just like, I talked to her and she was just like, hi. And I was just like, what? That's it? Nothing else with you? Nothing more with you. I just talked to you for 16 hours and you're just going to say hi to me? Like it really did let me down a lot at the very end. But like it was so strong in the middle and the front that I still would recommend it just for how fun that was. But yeah, this in terms of the ominous vibes, it really kind of dipped off at the end for me personally.
Gotcha. Sarah, you going to stick with it, you think?
I think I'll go back to it, but I've been so obsessed with like the other game that I want to talk about today. Yeah. It's just like it's consumed
I see
my
you
soul.
on so late. Me too. On Steam Deck playing it.
I'm
every
up
day.
until like 1 a.m. Like I have like a Steam Deck wrist injury from this game.
Oh yeah. Okay, real quick. The last game is called Discounty, and it's not in early access. It's just out. It feels like an early access game, but it's out. It's on Switch and everywhere, and Steam and all that good stuff. Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about sim game with some sinister vibes. I don't know if sinister is the right term.
No, it is.
Okay.
It's so sinister.
Some would say grim.
Grim is a better. So this is Grimshire. Is this game here that Sarah put on our radar, and it came out like a couple months ago. It is in early access, but playing on Steam, Sarah. This game captured my imagination in a big way. I love this weird thing. Yeah. Where it's like, it's very early on, but it's like, okay, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon type thing. Got it. Cute animals. Okay, got it. Kind of Animal Crossing vibe. Got it. But then do you want to explain what's compelling about Grimshire,
Yes.
Sarah?
So yeah, Grimshire, like Ben says, you're all a bunch of cute little animals. There's like rabbits, foxes, stoats, hamsters, the whole works.
Stoats.
And yeah, that's what they're called. That's what they're called.
Yeah, I can go on.
But the entire underlying thing is that you are constantly in a crisis for food. So you are the village basically has to provide food per day to survive. And the beginning is absolutely off the wall. Like, I'm like, truly, like, how bad could this get, right? And you know, you show up and they're like, oh, like the city is burning, but we rescued you from the burning city and now you're in the village of Grimshire. Oh, by the way, like we have an empty farm that you could live in. Oh, by the way, we have a root cellar and if you don't fill it, like we might all die. But like, luckily things aren't too bad right now. So like we might not, you know, it's pretty fine. Like just, you know, be a farmer. And then things get worse and worse and worse. And I think what's so cool is that your like Stardew Valley end of day screen where it tells you all like everything you've sold for money.
Yeah.
In Grimshire, it is how many days do we have left to live?
Yeah.
And it shows you all the food you've contributed and all the food people have taken out.
It's so stressful.
It's so stressful.
It's amazing. But like in the beginning too, it's not just like, hey, welcome to this farm, work on it. But also it just sets the tone so perfectly where like in the beginning it's like, hey, you're with this goat woman. she's seriously injured. And then it just turns into a big funeral sequence for this goat
She died during the night.
You burn her in a pyre on top of a hill.
And the part that I think is really crucial to get across is this is not like Cult of the Lamb. Isn't it cute how dark this is? This is the most sincere fucking game I've ever played in my
Watership
life.
down.
Yes.
Watership down vibes.
Yes. It is just like we happen to be animals, but death is all around us, and this was a nightmare.
Say goodbye to your children.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's cool. And so there is, like permadeath. Because I noticed like the game starts your default difficulty on easy.
Easy.
Yeah, and I was like, that's interesting. Well, of course I want to play on normal. But then when I started it, I'm like, oh, okay. They have done that to try and alleviate some pain here.
They created easy peasy. Apparently that's coming or has already came out. Maybe not yet, but I saw a post that says like, we get it. We'll release an easy peasy mode because easy's too hard. Everyone's dying.
But I love it.
I just feel like I feel the same way as Haley, where it's like I like Stardew Valley, but like I don't want to strive for perfection. And then you bring me this farm sim, and it's like if you fail, this cute bunny's gonna eat it, and I'm like, oh my god! Like I work every minute of the day, my fingers to the bone to keep these animals alive. And another thing that makes it so interesting is the game splits you into herbivores and carnivores.
Right.
And you have to provide, like the carnivores only eat like meat and fish, right? And the herbivores only eat plants. So it's like you have to make sure that they both have enough to eat per day. So like you can do ranching, but like I've been slaughtering those animals to make sure I've never like had to slaughter an animal before. And the animals have like a weight to them, like out of like 15. And if you get them fat enough, you get more meat from them. And the animals all look like sea slugs because obviously like they can't be like real animals.
Right, I was wondering.
The villagers are real animals, so they're sea slugs. So I'm like, yeah, slaughtering animals, like they need to live. You must die so they can live.
Wow.
So imagine, like a Harvest Moon type thing, but like mixed with Iron Man mode from XCOM, you know, or like Animal Crossing with XCOM Iron Man. Like, it's such a cool combination that I had never experienced before. But like,
it changes the vibes immensely.
Yeah.
It makes everything feel different. Like I'm actually using drying racks and all those extra things that I normally don't care about in Stardew Valley, because shelf life also matters. Because if you put a bunch of stuff in there that expires in 2 days and people don't have time to eat it, then it just goes bad and you wasted your time. So if I just put if I put 50 radishes in there and try to like min-max it.
Letter.
Oh, I could hear that.
that's the goal.
I heard that too. Audio listeners, something gross happened. Yeah, if you min-max it, then essentially like you do a bad job and all the food goes bad. You didn't need to do it again. And so like
He's hungry.
you have to set up these multi-step processes before you put the food in there.
Right.
And then you also have to time it out so that you don't have too much going in that all spoils on the same day, because then the villagers don't have time to eat it. They don't want to eat too much. And like, so I'm coming up with all these additional strategies. Like now, Sarah, I saw in a Reddit thread, have a box and anything that never spoils, keep it in the box, never put it in the
because they'll take
the
it.
Main thing.
So just save it for like worst case scenario.
Save it for worst case scenario. So there's like bones and like seeds that are surprisingly have a lot of stamina and stuff that never spoil. They don't get that. That's going in my backup thing in case winter is coming and she's a harsh.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna make it where like my current game is.
I don't see how I'm gonna make it either.
I just made it to summer, and like we're already like not like things. The way it escalates is like absolutely insanity. Like every week there's like a new challenge. So like for example, like not to spoil the plot, but like avoiding the plot, which is absolutely insane. There's like a red tide, like red algae that makes all the fish toxic. So then you're like, how am I going to feed the carnivores? All the fish are toxic and now I can't fish anymore. And then I had to like go and slaughter a bunch of my animals to make ends meet. Leo, why are you grimacing? This is incredible. I've never felt more alive.
This is gaming.
Everything matters.
That's how I smile.
Farming matters. Like I'm not just a millionaire in Stardew doing it for the good brain juice. I'm like I'm getting good brain juice for a reason.
Doing it for money that's ultimately totally optional to have.
Right.
Yeah.
In Stardew.
Yeah.
Well, and you have to balance that too, because you also need money to like upgrade your stuff. So I need to balance out like the food, like giving people food to live and also selling enough that I can like scale my operation properly so we can continue to live. It's nice because like the other villagers do donate food to the root cellar. It's not just you, but also the majority is you. And they have these like community projects that you can vote between. And like, it's kind of like the community projects. They're like, okay, give us like, 100 wood, 100 rock, and XYZ, and like the villagers will also donate to that as well and really help you out to like. So it feels like you're more of a community than like the Animal Crossing donation projects where you're like, I don't see any of you donating to this. Okay,
Get off your ass, Tommy.
100% me. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, it's so. I think it does a lot of cool things with farming sims with like the crop system. It's not just by season. They spread it out like how normal crops would go. So crops will span spring to summer to fall. Like they all have different dates. So you have to watch out when you're planting because you're like, it's not going to all die when spring ends, right? Like some will carry over, but some won't. So I have to make sure that like that's happening. You can let them go to seed. So you can harvest them, but if you wait a day, they'll go to seed and then you get bonus seeds and you don't have to buy seed. But like the gamble with that is like sometimes you get seed and plant and other times you'll just get like 2 seeds and no food. So it's like everything's kind of like a weird gamble. Like how far can you push this envelope until people start to die?
And like the drying racks don't dry if it's raining. So like I had some food that needed to be in that GE cellar like right now, like hello. And then it was raining and all my drying racks were paused and I was literally like, stop please. Like there was nothing I could do because I was going around just picking cherries and like hoping that I'd have enough cherries to put in the cellar. And I got to the next day, thank God. But the little hamster was like, we're Haley. It was like all red, and I was like, like it's literally. I've played this till 4 a.m, like two or 3 nights in a row.
Whoa.
I can't stop playing.
Yeah,
it.
like I get that this game. I didn't want to do it. Like I saw it on Steam, and I was like, no, Sarah, like no more early access games. Like we can't do Manor Lords again. Like we can't do this. But it literally, this game haunted me, right? Like for weeks and weeks, I was like, I gotta play that game. I gotta play that game. And it currently only has like 700 reviews on Steam.
Yeah.
So, but the gameplay loop is so addictive and it's so well done that I don't even care that like, yeah, sure, like the festival isn't as exciting as they want it to be, and like maybe not everything's implemented, but you can at least get through like a full year, and I'm like, I don't even know if I'll make it through a full year, might just die.
Yeah, I saw like one Steam review, overwhelmingly positive Steam reviews, by the way, if we're not selling you enough on Grimshire, but there's one Steam review where they're like, I can't believe this is early access. Like it feels fully fleshed out. So it's nice to know that so far, at least you haven't hit that brick wall of like, nope. But my question is, I was like, when characters die, how much is it shutting off? Like, is it like, all right, this person runs this store, therefore you can't go in that store anymore? Or is it like, what roads are...
That's what I'm wondering. Well, I'm wondering, like, if I run out of food for the carnivores, do they eat the herbivores?
Yeah, wouldn't that
like,
be good?
how serious does this get?
That would be so good.
The stores do have the Fields of Mystery thing where you can go to them even if they're not there. So I think the insinuation is even if the person permadeathed, you could still go to their shop and buy stuff.
You just can't romance them anymore.
Yeah, and maybe you like lose out on some...
most of them, and they're just gonna die. I'm gonna invest all that.
Well, maybe like you don't do like the community projects that they come up with. Like you don't get their community whatever if they're not there.
Okay.
But yeah, I like this because I like that it's on a micro level versus like the macro level of like Manor Lords or Banished where you're like building something. This is a very micro, like you and like a bunch of villagers that you're getting to know, weathering these quite literally like how bad could it get? And you're like, oh, it just got worse conditions.
Super smart. Yeah. I'm not crazy about the art.
There's two-person team. Okay, so it's like, one person did the art and it's like, if we could improve something, it is pixel art, but it's like, I feel like, you know what? Good enough. Good enough for me.
Okay. All right. There we go.
The pixel bloodstains are, they all look the same.
Hey, you want more bunny guts? Like,
could it hurt? Yeah, come on.
At least from the trailer, it adds to the like surreality, the strangeness of it and the genre, just like how tall every character is.
Yeah.
Compared to a Stardew Valley.
I guess so.
Yeah. What animals did you guys all pick? I'm a rabbit.
I'm a deer.
I chose a rabbit.
Oh.
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm a toad or whatever nonsense.
Stoat.
A stoat.
Jesus.
Keep saying it. Doesn't make it real.
Exactly. Yeah. Merriam-Webster's never heard of it either. All right. Grimshire is the name of that game. I'm sure we'll be coming back to it. Please continue to regale us with your adventures through Grimshire, please.
Yeah, this is one of those games that's going to come out in 5 years, and they're going to be like, why wasn't anyone talking about this earlier? And I'll be screaming from the rooftops, like, I was!
Yeah, it's just on Steam right now, early access for Grimshire. But Leo, a game you have been asked repeatedly to stand on a rooftop and scream about is the next game from the developers of your favorite game of all time, Hitman. Their next game is 007 First Light. And with every glimpse of that game, you've been...
Big smile on his face.
You've been cautious.
Smile.
You've been dipping your toe in the water and saying, I don't know if it's the right temperature, guys. I don't know if I want to go swimming in this 007 game. And then they had a big gameplay focus state of play and a behind the scenes presentation for you, which I think was largely similar. And now you've changed your tune to...
That's my new tune, baby. I said it on the React stream, and it bears repeating that I'm ashamed that I was skeptical about it because of the trailer. But, those were in the mind's eye, halcyon days,
Yeah.
The air's cleared a little bit now.
Right. It's like everything that happened with IO over the summer didn't happen. We can just focus on this baby.
Right. And it's not like it's even more of a Hitman game than I expected or more like Hitman than I expected. It's like just, it is that action game, that action promise, but just with the design sensibilities of like, you should have that freedom of approach and you should have surprising things happen because of the way the systems are interacting. In a way that it's like, you see a third person Bond action game and you kind of picture what that is. And it's maybe a little closer to like Mafia, the old country.
Yep.
But this is very unique. It feels a very specific flavor that I wouldn't expect out of anybody except IO.
Yeah, and it was such a smart, cool presentation. There were some technical performance issues. I understand that. Preview build, everybody. Let's judge it once it comes out. So that's fair. I at least appreciate them going for a state of play where it is just extended chunks of gameplay. Like here, look at this mission here. We're going to jump ahead a little bit, but presumably this is the first mission of the game, right?
That's what they say. Or it's Bond's first mission, at least.
Okay.
His first mission in the field.
Yeah. And so just giving you this extended look where it's like, yeah, there's going to be several minutes of just slowly driving a car up to a place, and then several minutes of slowly walking through this amazing building. And if you're the type of gamer that just wants to appreciate, like, oh my God, there are hundreds and hundreds of NPCs in this mansion and 1,000 ways to interact with so many of them, like in a very Hitman style way, like that is just a confident way to present this game, I think, and exactly what I feel like they needed to do to woo the likes of you.
Yeah. And a pace that isn't always nailed of that slow build up and it popping off at any moment, you know, like plenty of games have their down moments and then the action moments and stuff. But this through the systems, like the license to kill thing where you aren't typically allowed to kill anybody. You're supposed to do hand-to-hand combat, knock them out with gadgets or with your fists. So just contain the situation if you can. But at a certain point or at a story point, but also if like you get so found out that people start shooting at you, it pops up on screen license to kill, and then you're allowed to take out your gun and shoot back. Having that kind of gamified, I get in that Hitman way where it's like there's the pace of getting in there, getting your bearings, and then trying to control when things pop off as best as you can, but you can't always. And that is always like because of decisions you made and you're dealing with the fallout in your way. That feels like my type of game for sure.
So it can happen narratively then. So is the implication that a lot of these levels are going to be like slowly stealth your way into this situation, and then at the end there's just going to be license to kill, story reasons slapped on the screen, now just shoot them up?
Yeah, I mean, plenty of that for sure, and license to kill is for sure mechanical as well. Okay. I was very curious about that. Yeah. It is used in both scenarios.
So how different was your presentation that you got behind closed doors?
The first half was the same. The mission going from the mansion to the plane where you're doing the banking the plane left to right to have the cargo slide into people to like get through combat encounters that way, which I thought was so cool. But then after that, it was a kind of a PowerPoint with some clips for us. And then for the state of play for everybody, it was a lot more like individual clips of the combat. They just showed like so many different combat moves, grappling and throwing people into so many different things. And of course, that grapple where you run with them and you go off a ledge and you land on them. Such a cool animation. Throwing the guns. They showed, it's like, I was really happy with that state of play for how much they showed of moment to moment combat that all felt different and clever. Kicking the cart of explosives into the guys like from stealth and shooting it to kill them all at once.
Yeah, like shooting the trail of oil or gas to that one car to have that explode. Like, I get that it's a lot of exploding barrels and stuff. Like, there's an interesting reaction to this state of play where it's like everything the game did that looked like standard action game, like something from an Uncharted. A lot of people are like, I've seen it look better in the past. I don't know about that. I don't know about that part. So with them trying to like appease the non-Hitman action game crowd, seemed like that wasn't really working as well as maybe they were hoping. But then every other element when they're leaning into their specialties of having these more systemic elements, seems like it seems like a magical type of presentation. So I'm curious where it's ultimately going to land for folks.
Me too. I was like secondhand kind of nervous for that first gameplay section that was so quiet, and there were times where nobody was talking. In the private demo, there was like the developers were there talking about it, and it filled a little bit more of the air and answered some of the questions and filled in how different it can go for everybody versus like you're kind of seeing it go one way, and if you're not like paying attention to the sides of the screen, you're not really thinking about the different ways you might do it. So the second half of the presentation was a lot better for that, of explicitly laying out, here's all the mechanics. It's not just linear through this. There's the one way to solve that one mission.
Yeah, and it was cool seeing like the dialogue options and stuff, and just having like a prompt for bluff pop up. I was like, oh, that's interesting to like bluff your way through all of these scenarios as Bond. Like, it's rare to have bluffing as a big gameplay mechanic in a game like this, I guess.
Yeah, a mechanical bluff. You press a button and it uses a resource, and that's so exciting to me. I always wish there's more dialogue stuff in Hitman. But yeah, having different dialogue options too, just as like, I'm back into Hitman the last week yet again, and it is still the best game ever. And the idea of like, even in this more linear way, going to the same type of high society party you do in Hitman and looking for the person to complete the mission like you do in Hitman, but with the dialogue options and a bit more character to all the people at the party. It's very fun for me just to imagine having a bit more of that campaign experience versus like the ultimate, most systemic, most free thing, a little bit more on rails to be a little more cinematic.
Yeah, so I mean, you don't think you're going to be replaying these missions 1,000 times then? Like it's not really that type of game?
They've said they don't really have incentive to besides trying different things out. Like you can see that there are different mission stories to get in. There are like checkpoints or waypoints or whatever in the upper left going 1 through 5. Like here's the steps of posing as this photographer. You've got to find the camera, talk to the journalist, etc. I'm sure you can do multiple of those at the same time and see which one is moving along fastest. And you might want to go like, I wonder what happens if you do that other one. But I think it's more just about feeling like it's you getting through it the first time. And it's not so much about level mastery the way Hitman is.
Yeah.
Which I reached level 100 in Freelancer finally.
Hey!
Incredible work.
Thank you so much. And happy to report hasn't impacted my want to play it at all. Still want to play it exactly as much.
Hey!
That's even more important.
It's good. Yeah. Finally.
I was surprised by like just the UI in this game. I love seeing funky UI. It's like, oh, it's all like kind of watch based and watch themed. I guess that makes sense. But there's weird stuff for like
you watch.
Yeah, but it's like instinct is like, or focus is kind of the electricity currency that pops up when you do something or kill somebody. You get more focus, which lets you slow stuff down. There's a lot of those details that are still kind of wonky.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's mapped to what resource because there's gadgets and like the bluff, like charisma moves, you know?
Right.
So I don't know exactly how that'll all work.
Yeah, it's funky. I saw people commenting and comparing it to Hitman Absolution. Can you Hitman junkies explain why that's the one that's the comparison here?
That was a
Never
really
played Hitman
action-y
Absolution.
one.
Okay.
That was the one where you had dual pistols and could do a focus style slow motion thing. Which fans of the Hitman franchise famously do not like that one. And I thought it was fun on its own terms.
Okay, so that's slander as a Hitman fan to be like, this is some Absolution BS.
Yeah, right. That means you don't like it, yeah.
Okay, cool. Got it. You guys are so crazy with your lingo.
Also fun about this is like, Bond, I feel like I don't care about that much, or is easy to feel like I don't care about that much because just for the small reason that there's only like 3 of the movies are good of the 40 there are. But
right.
I have watched them since I was a kid. That character is fun and has a lot of like unique personality, especially among other big franchises. And like hearing that Bond theme swell in the end of the demo, I was like, this is getting me. I'm excited by this.
It works.
And I like so many Bond type things, including Hitman, including Kingsman, my favorite movie.
Oh, right.
That it's almost like feeding back into itself of like, okay, let's do it with the real music that everyone's imitating.
Also, not to call you out, aren't you like a big Dexter sicko too?
What?
Didn't you really like Dexter, that series?
No.
Oh, you don't know what?
How can you just assume that about
You mean
someone?
Hannibal?
Oh, those are different killers. Yeah, I was really thinking about Hannibal. You're right.
I was watching that tonight with Marie. That show rocks. And
Dexter?
It's nothing like anything we're talking about.
Oh, damn it.
We've also watched Dexter First Blood. Worst thing we've ever seen.
Okay, that's what I was thinking of too. No, because like, yeah, that actor who's playing Bond here, he's, I guess, Dexter in the Dexter Original Sin. So I was under the impression
Dexter's son, or young Dexter, I don't know.
Young Dexter, I think it's called. Yeah, so I was like,
young
this
Dexter,
is...
like a young Sheldon? Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Oh, gross.
But then they have old
The
Dexter.
unification of
He's
all
like
shows.
narrating it, I think. So it's like Wonder Years about him killing people or something. Okay, so it's not the complete dream for you then. If you're not a big Dexter fan, I take it back then.
Yeah, I wish they were getting a little closer to Dexter for sure.
But yeah, it comes out March 26th. 2026. People are starting to get worried about that Switch 2 version. If the version they're showing on PS5 is running a little rough. Like...
Hitman runs great now, but it didn't always. It's had its fair share of technical stuff, so I can't speak to that. I hope it goes well.
Yep. But 007 First Light.
I can't believe we have a new console from Nintendo. We're doing the exact same thing we did with the Switch.
It's
like
identical.
6 months later.
It's identical. It is such a weird bummer spot to be in.
Uh-oh, will it run? Let's wait another 10 years and maybe Switch 3 will work.
I mean, it's so messed up, but genuinely, like, my friends were going nuts talking about this Silksong game. And they're all buying it on Switch. And I had that moment of like, I don't know, guys. You've like Silksong. I'm kind of scared for them. Okay.
Silksong will run.
I hope so. I hope it's running great.
That's just PNGs.
Yeah.
Easy.
Hey, Haley, in Slack, when you were
Sarah
screaming...
just cringed so hard.
when you were screaming about a game called Discounty in Slack, Jeffem was screaming about a game called Apotris. And I said, what is this? So I booted it up on Steam and then realized this is not on Steam. This is This is some shareware,
Lame-o.
dark web nonsense that you've dug out.
Yeah.
I
here,
like
Jeff.
how you commanded Ben, I will talk about this on the podcast. You phrased it. You didn't ask for permission.
Yeah, it's not shareware. It's open source, you ass. Yeah, it's so
glad
it's,
that's not me right now.
yeah, it's basically a really cool open source version of Tetris. We don't have to talk about it long.
No,
folks.
I played it too. I want to talk about it. I think it's cool.
No,
Come on, let's
yeah,
talk about
it's-
it forever.
Like
Don't listen to Ben. Talk about it as long as you want.
I played it too. I want to talk about it.
My journey. So you did play
I did.
some of it?
I did.
Yeah, my journey with Tetris. Obviously, I love Tetris, but I've grown increasingly annoyed with Tetris. Aside from Tetris Effect, which of course is amazing, but every other Tetris thing that the Tetris company has been doing just kind of annoys me because they have Tetris on such IP lockdown, and they have their own guideline rules for how all Tetris games have to play, and it's like like they just want Tetris to be this one thing and it can't be anything else. And so like that's what all commercial IP Tetris games are.
Yeah.
And so it has come to basically like fan communities and open source communities are like, F it, we'll just make our own Tetrises that are off brand and hopefully we won't get DMCA'd too hard, which this one apparently did get pulled off of itch for being. But now it's GitHub. You can't stop GitHub. Everybody can get it on whatever platform they want. So it's on Windows, Linux, Mac, and then they have made a couple like ROM versions of it for GBA because I guess I think that was like the original version, and so like you can get it on whatever platform you want, and like the big selling point is that it's super customizable. Like they have so many options for how, like pieces rotate and how the randomness works of piece selection and how many pieces you want previewed. And you can just like fully customize it to the point where they also have like a color palette editor and you can choose the colors for each Tetronimo and make your own color palette. And it has a skin editor where it just gives you basically like a little MS Paint and you can paint what the squares are so you can make your own patterns for your Tetronimo pieces. And then it has, like 13 game modes or whatever. And it's in active development and like a bunch of people are working on it because it's open source. So they just pull in like different, builds that people kind of all merge into this one version and like they just keep growing it and it's super good. The biggest biggest criticism of it is like I don't love the music selection, but when you unzip it or you install it, there's just a folder with audio including like the sound effects, and you can just put in whatever you want and change it. And they even made it so that like if you're playing the Game Boy Advance version, the ROM version, like there is a script that after you put in the audio files, you run the script and it will rebuild the ROM for you.
Wow.
And then you can put it on whatever retro, handheld that you play all your retro games on and stuff. And so it's just like, I am always searching for like the perfect little version of Tetris, and I play retro games from, on different platforms every now and then. And it's like, I hadn't heard of this. And then when I found it, it was like, oh, this is exactly what I've wanted from a Tetris game. And it's free and will always be free. And so it's just like a passionate fan project.
Yeah.
Are there customization options you like? Like what do you do in it that's different?
Have I spent an hour going through and making my own Tetronimo designs, Leo? Yes, I have. I don't know
First
why.
of all, have they always been called Tetronimo? Is that what the pieces are called?
Yeah. Tetrominos
Sarah.
or Tetrominos.
Something like
I
that.
didn't know they had a name.
I'm not sure about
They're called blocks, you guys.
the pronunciation, but yeah, it's polyominoes, but they're 4 squares, so it's tetraminos.
What's a polyomino?
You'll know when you're older.
idea.
Hey, speaking of which, Jeff, I want to have you finish your point. It's a great question, but I went down this YouTube rabbit hole of old Easy Allies videos this last weekend. And
Sure.
I found they did something called Easy Allies Live, like a whole live musical performance with a crowd. And Kyle Bossman wrote a love song to one of the Tetris pieces. And I've had that song stuck in my head for like
Was it the L piece?
Yes, it's one of the L pieces that he calls Joey, and it is such a good freaking song. It's unbelievable.
So it would have been like this way, so that it looks like the letter J.
I think so.
That L piece.
Sorry, now. Okay, what you put little faces on all your Tetronymous?
No.
Oh,
that would be absurd.
Oh,
Which Tetris block would you guys
just
kiss?
messed around with the editor, and yeah, and
That's
like,
fine. We don't have to
and
talk about that.
there are some other options, Leo, of like the auto delay response, of course, like when you press over, like so you press and hold. If you press over, you're going to move one grid line over, right, with your tetrometer. Obviously, everybody knows that. But if you press and hold, the question is, when does it categorize that as, hey, I want to move one piece, but he's just holding it too long, versus he wants to just keep it moving. And like so I'm going to start scrolling this piece until he lets go. And that's when I'm going to stop. And that's the thing that like the real Tetris freaks and the people who play like the Grandmaster series,
right.
like they're very particular about all of that stuff. And so a lot of these kind of open source attempts to do Tetris, they give you a lot of options for configuring all that kind of stuff. And I fiddle with some of that stuff, but I'm not a grandmaster.
Not yet. Come on, don't put yourself down. You'll get there. You'll get to level 100 someday.
We'll get there someday, I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Apotris is the name of this funky free Tetris.
Apparently the Apo came from the person's name, and I don't know what his name is, but he said he put that in the front of Tetris.
Oh, that's probably
and now he can't be sued for it.
Oh, that's probably what it is.
Could be.
Sweet. Hey, Leo Vader, do you know how this whole thing operates?
I would kiss the square block.
Yeah, okay, we know, Haley.
One looks like a T.
Okay, well, that's a weird choice.
That's a cute one.
That's actually kind of a problematic choice in a lot of ways. If you think about it.
Squatter.
Leo, can you say the thing?
Oh, the line pieces, OnlyFans.
I messed with his groove, and now he doesn't want it to reset again.
That's right, everybody. Patreon. Patreon.com/MinnMax with 2 N's. You go there to help support independent games media. We greatly appreciate it. Thanks to everybody for upgrading your tier, getting that code for Spilled before Monday. But also thank you to our dear friends at I Am 8-Bit. They want everybody to know about Remedy and Remedy's 30th anniversary, everybody. They have a ton of great stuff in their wonderful online store. Did you really?
Yeah, I got one of the signed copies. I did it, you guys. I actually got something when it was live for 1 minute, and they sold out in 1 minute. I got one.
Yeah, you're talking about it like it's a bad thing to shop at I Am 8-Bit.
Well, I also spent hundreds of dollars.
Good God, Haley!
But I had fun.
Did you use our code?
Good God. It was all a blur. I really wanted the signed copy. I don't even think I thought about codes. I just was like, and then I refreshed and they were sold out. Yeah, don't be like me, you guys.
Commit this to memory.
Also, it's 10% off of everything under $100. So we have our limits with I Am 8-Bit, Haley.
I couldn't have used it on the book anyway, so we're good.
Yeah, we encourage you blowing past it. But yes, everybody, Remedy's 30th anniversary. They have a ton of amazing stuff in their store celebrating Alan Wake. They got the Oh Dear coffee cooler, Remedyverse t-shirts, a bunch of fun stuff in there. And you can use that promo code for 10% off everything under $100 to help support Remedy.
They have pajamas.
Yeah, exactly.
I really liked that. Gamer pajamas, more.
Also,
give me more of that.
Super smart. They have an ashtray maze ashtray.
Yeah, it makes me want to start smoking.
I felt the same way.
I didn't get it.
Are they sold out of the Night Springs VHS?
I'm not sure. Go to I Am 8-Bit store right now and check it out and see if they're sold out, everybody. And use that promo code for other stuff in their store as well. Help support I Am 8-Bit because they support the MinnMax community in a huge way with shipping out a prize each and every week to whoever submits the best question over on Patreon. If you submit a great question, you're in the running. We choose our number one favorite question every week submitted on Patreon. They win a great prize from I Am 8-Bit. This week is the Persona 3 Reload vinyl soundtrack for episode 8 Aegis. So that is the prize going out. And by the way, the promo code for this month, 10% off everything I Am 8-Bit store. It's Earth, Wind, and Games. Earth, Wind, and Games, everybody. Special,
what else do you need?
Promo code. What else do you need? All right.
4 elements, but there's 3.
Are you ready for these questions?
Sorry. Yeah.
It's email section at 9:30. Time to crack one single beer.
Hell yeah. And Haley, I want you to know you're doing a great job. I feel like you're apologizing for every interjection you've had. You're doing good.
It adds a little je ne sais quoi for a little cheeky sorry at the end. It makes me sympathetic to the listener. I like her.
Yeah, that's smart.
Going for.
That's smart. All right, first question. And leave a comment if you like Haley, please. She needs it.
Please.
Boondock Bandit writes in, they say, hey, everybody, IO Interactive is giving unlockable cosmetics to 007 First Light based on the Steam wishlist numbers. Is this really cool or really not cool?
Oh, I've heard that before, where it's like if we hit X amount of wish lists, every player will get insert cosmetic thing.
Oh, interesting. I thought this was, would we like to see if you wish list, you get something special in game, which I think is of course, that's so smart. Do that.
Smart.
That's what I thought it was too.
Yeah. I wonder if
But how would they verify that? That'd be hard.
Yeah, is there any way to... It seems like there'd be a way to do that. I wonder if Steam...
They would have to get Steam to tell them who wish lists, and I don't know if they keep that private or not.
Well, you just put your IO Interactive account in, and that'd be fine.
Yeah,
we'd all five of us would do that.
Just screenshot and email them with your username so they know.
So do you think this is just like...
Leave a positive review. And just leave a way for them to contact you.
Yeah, it's not that hard. It's very clear. But is this just common sense of like, hey, you got to have it, treat it like a fundraiser goal thing of if we hit this, this unlocks. Treat it like a Kickstarter or something with wish lists.
Does no harm. Like,
in all the things that games can do nowadays, a free wish list and we'll give you a free thing seems pretty innocuous.
Yeah, they're not stealing my children's data or anything, so it sounds good.
Well, Haley, I got bad news because at 1.5 million wish lists, they just list that.
Steal my child's data?
It says they'll unlock a secret reward, and we don't know that isn't stealing your child's
my unborn
data.
child's data.
Or just steal your child, whose name is Data.
Oh my god. Bezos wants that so bad.
Gimme.
Don't do it.
I do think even pre-order rewards are shadier than wish list rewards.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
On the spectrum of shady, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Boondock Bandit, no Boondocks here. Thumbs up. Go for it. P9.
Saint.
Yeah, no kidding. B9XM says, hello. Now that Silksong is about to be out as of writing this, what's the next heavily memed games project on the horizon other than Half-Life 3?
You know, I wasn't here for the Silksong thing. It is interesting. Silksong felt more memed than it ended up being. Like, it became very real. It crashing every storefront and stuff. I wasn't really expecting the demand to be that material.
Yeah.
Right, you thought it was
a joke.
I thought it was a joke too.
It was a little bit of a joke. I didn't think it was completely a joke, but yeah.
I feel like it's like I saw someone say like, what would it have been like if Silksong had come out like 2 years or 3 years after Hollow Knight? Like, what would it have been as big, or did like the absolute memeing of it compound it to this level, which is like I think a really interesting thing to think about.
Yep, they delayed their game so long they ended up making hundreds of millions of dollars more. It's really
it's like
wild.
the 1 in a million times that happens.
I know. Yeah. So what's left?
Bubsy 4D.
Bubsy 4D.
I think it's Haunted Chocolatier. I don't know if they'll meme on it though.
Oh, that's a good one.
But the thing is like people keep thinking like it's gonna come out, and Concerned Abe literally put out a post like a week ago, and he's like, it's going to be at least 5 years.
Oh my
and
God.
what did people expect? Because it took him several years to release Stardew Valley.
And he's updating Stardew Valley constantly.
He won't stop.
He won't stop working on
He's
Stardew
announced
Valley.
a new patch, right? I feel like every time there's a concert or something, he gets out on stage for Stardew Valley and says, by the way, 1.86 is coming soon. It's like, no.
I literally saw a video of him at the Stardew Valley concert, which they just kicked off again, and he was playing like steel drums. And I'm like, anything but working on Haunted Chocolatier.
Yeah, those better be hooked up to a keyboard, buddy. Better be programming with them drums.
What about the final chapters of Deltarune?
Yeah, I don't know if we're quite to that point, because it doesn't feel like...
We have to wait a few years, but that could, if that one does sit in the oven for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. Chia said that they think it's going to be Fumito Ueda's robot game. Remember that one?
Sure.
That super cool trailer.
See, I don't remember that one, so how could it be that one?
It's very.
And it is a little too artsy, maybe.
Yeah.
No offense to any of the other games in the discussion, but as far as memeing it, I don't know.
Right. And Star Citizen? Is that
Played out.
We had our fun.
It was a Silksong of the past.
Yeah. Get out of here.
You're first.
And I was thinking, like, it needs to be a game that's like people are going to go gaga for. So it's like Beyond Good and Evil 2, I think, is a good punchline. It's a killer punchline. I don't know if there's more than a dozen people who are like, I cannot wait to play that version of Beyond Good and Evil 2 that I saw, you know?
Or even remember it.
Yeah,
It's missing that.
Yeah.
And it's never actually going to come out, so it doesn't
It has
matter.
a monkey in it.
That's what's sad.
You guys.
So I think Haunted Chocolatier, and I think honestly Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be the big one, right?
Yeah.
That's it. That's exact slot fill in. Other than the
Do
whole
we
indie
think GTA
nature,
6 will get delayed again, and then that'll keep memeing it up?
they should. If they're looking at the sales of Silksong, keep delaying it.
It is trending the same way because people keep saying like we've got X before GTA 6, which is just like free advertising in itself. So it kind of already is in that slot, but maybe more.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls. I wonder the most vocal contingent of the gamer crowd. I feel like is all against Bethesda now because of Starfield, and I wonder if that'll help its meme factor or hurt it. This is important stuff.
I don't know. I think Bobby Joe Sloppy on the street. I don't think he's heard of Starfield. And if you just say, "Hey, you're looking for the next Elder Scrolls 6," he's going to be excited.
Bobby Joe Sloppy has the platinum.
But he's a huge Elder Scrolls fan.
Yeah,
Joe
he's
Sloppy.
married to that grandma. Toke F writes in, and Toke F says, "Fun fact, no question here, but fun fact: every calendar year, a Mass Effect game has released. A new Halo game has also released." Starting with Mass Effect and Halo 3 in 2007, and then Mass Effect 2 and Halo Reach in 2010, Mass Effect 3...
Have you ever seen them in the same room?
And then Halo Reach in 2012, Mass Effect Andromeda and Halo Wars 2 in 2017, Mass Effect Legendary Edition and Halo Infinite in 2021. It even includes mobile spin-off Mass Effect titles with Mass Effect Galaxy and Halo ODST, and Halo Wars in 2009.
I like that this person thought of one and then was like, I wonder. And then went into the research and double-checked everything.
And they sent a picture of the whiteboard where they were doing the equations, and the math checks out, everybody.
Was it like Dexter?
It was kind of like Dexter's whiteboard, or as he calls it, his red board. You're
He
telling
flips
me...
it over and uses the blood as the writing tool and puts it back up on the wall.
So, Leo, hand to God, you're telling me that you have not watched multiple episodes of the original Dexter series?
I have. I liked season 1 in late high school, and then I kept watching it.
Like an idiot.
Okay.
You didn't like
Yeah,
it.
what is this, Mr.
You love it. You made Ben look like an idiot.
Yes, thank you.
I was a bit more confused on how it had nothing to do with anything we were talking about.
Because James Bond, the actor, is the young Dexter.
25 years after I watched it? Right. I got it now.
That's on you, dude. Because you loved that first season. You said, I love it. I want some more of it.
That
I
actor
remember
wasn't even born yet when Leo was watching.
Tell Leo. He's the one who's getting his facts wrong.
I'm not listening.
Ellie-
Dude, Crowboy, want to feel old? Crowboy says Skyrim Grandma's 89 now.
Oh, no, that's too old.
Stop.
That's too old.
Stop aging.
Protector.
Elliot Robinson says, hi, we all know that Nintendo is infamously secretive about their internal development practices. If one day they started releasing substantive behind-the-scenes content like dev diaries, interviews, etc. Sorry, it's just funny to think of. If Nintendo did interviews, how do you think it would affect game development across the industry if Nintendo was...
Who left a
suddenly-
question mark on this question? I saw someone leave a passive-aggressive question mark.
It's a long
on our
story.
list.
I forgot to copy and paste the full question, and so Leo, it did not make sense.
did it?
So Leo
I
was
didn't mean it
confused.
passive aggressively. I did mean I need more context.
I read it as like, what the hell is this question?
Who would write in with this?
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of sick
So
and twisted
I didn't
mind?
touch it. I didn't want to be roped into that.
Well, you're roped
So I
in,
didn't think
lady.
about this
You're
one.
in one.
That question mark had the same emotion as me saying what to that poor guy.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Deuterado.
Did anyone thumbs up it?
Yeah, I want to talk about it, but you guys are talking about
What do you want
emotes
to
in the
say?
Slack.
Slack.
That's question. I
Let's
don't
hear you
have a good
out.
answer. I
What
like
do you
the
want to
question.
say?
Somebody else
You
give a
answer
thumbs
that.
up. I think
Who gave a thumbs up?
Not me.
Point them out. Point them out to the class.
Leo and Jeffem.
Did I?
I didn't even hear a question.
Oh my
Did you finish reading it?
How would it affect game development across the game industry if Nintendo was transparent?
This is why we can't podcast.
No one cares. If Nintendo
We can't
started
podcast after 8 p.m. anymore. We can't do this.
if Nintendo
midnight.
started saying what they do, what effect would that have? No one else acts like Nintendo because they're insane.
No, I think
let's not make my little NES, Super NES. We're not going to make it anymore and sell it because people want it too much. Yeah, oh great. I'm going to go do that as an indie developer with Hollow Knight 3. I've learned so much from Nintendo.
Guys, Jeff is
Get out of here.
uncomfortable.
Who asked this question? Who is the asshole?
Elliot.
Honestly, I agree with Jeffem. I'm with Jeffem on this one. Nintendo would be like, we did all these frames in a tiny flip book, and everybody would be like, why would you do that? Like, I bet Nintendo still faxes things internally. Like, nobody wants to emulate that.
There are lessons. Obviously, it's like, all right, we could get some wisdom, some history for the most important video game company that has existed yet on Earth.
They have a whole museum. Go to the museum.
Where it's like, here's a box of the Virtual Boy. You can look at it. You. Like, that does not seem like the type of thing we want.
You want to know who made Bonanza? We'll never tell.
Please tell me all the development strategies that led me to Welcome Tour.
Okay. We don't need to besmirch the good name. Leave purity alone.
I do wonder if something about that would make Nintendo's brand seem more replicatable.
Yes.
Having like cutesy stuff that appeals to, for some reason, every single person and not just people who like cutesy stuff. For some reason, everybody who plays video games keeps up with Nintendo stuff just about.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's another brand that's trying to do that. There's certainly brands that are trying to be cute and make cute games and stuff, but that level of like, this is the definitive entry in this genre and anybody can play it, you know, the way Nintendo does with Smash and with Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I wonder.
To the point
Can
that...
we go back to unfettered gamer rage? This is too smart now. I liked it when we were all just
Sorry,
like...
I remembered I did have an answer. Like 10 minutes into chewing Anson out for nobody wanted to answer this question. I remembered I did have an answer.
He pulled his second Dexter of the show, folks.
Oh, the Dexter Jetster.
No, I think like the best it could do is the more transparency we get with like Japanese game development, I think it's just highlighted more and more that like, yeah, the teams that stick together and they support their employees, that they are cranking out gems. I mean, From Software is obviously another example of this. It's like that team is cranking out masterpiece after masterpiece because those people have been working together for 20 plus years.
But they also nurture new talent, right? Which is what like Night Rain was. Mm-hmm. And Western devs don't do that. They say, nope. You release a game and then they lay everybody off and they say, get a fresh crop.
Yeah, they slaughter them.
Who else we got? So I think that'd be a nice lesson is to see like more people talking about how long they've been there outside of those developer asks on Nintendo's site that don't exactly make a big splash, sadly.
Sure, but to Sarah's point, do you think any Western developers would be like, oh, we shouldn't lay everybody off because now we know that Nintendo doesn't do it?
They can't do it because the laws in
They're
Japan
so
don't let
wise.
them.
I think so.
That's why they don't do it. They don't do it because they're so cute and pretty and nice. They do it because the government would sue them. You guys, wake up! Wake up, sheeple. That's why they don't fire anyone at FromSoft. It's not because they're so lovely and cute. It's because they got to.
Hey,
Haley, there's like 3 companies that are bad and the rest are all good, okay?
Yeah. How many times do I have to explain this?
Every company's bad.
We literally cannot conceive employee protection laws, Haley. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Haley Lawyer, have you heard of this? I saw on Kiwi Talks' YouTube channel, I believe that's where it was, where they're talking about like rights to actors, I think, signed away rights or whatever, in Japanese games specifically.
Likeness, right?
Thank you. That those are signed in Japan per platform. So like for Steam, it'd be different than like good old games. Like whatever platform that's sold on, you need different rights for the likeness.
I've never heard of that. Usually it's just a blanket, waiver of rights. You just say, you're not going to come at us at all in relation to this thing. And the person goes, okay. And then you do whatever you want.
Funky. Anyways, Deuterado writes in, they say, how often do y'all clean your feet? Like actually get in there and scrub them.
I can't get in my bed unless I wash my feet person. It freaks me out.
Whoa.
It freaks me out. I stick my feet in the tub and I turn the faucet on for the bottom bit and I just wash my feet and then I go get into the bed.
Does this mean?
You, me, same.
Whoa. This is like scrubbing with like a sponge?
With my hand.
Okay.
Yeah. Normally hosing them off is fine. It's because I wear Birkenstocks. I do pick up a good amount of dirt in the summer for sure.
That's what it is. Yeah.
There was
do you
a
guys
time
not shower at night? Are you like morning shower people?
Oh yeah,
I am.
Or night shower people. Okay.
Morning,
I shower during my lunch break.
Yeah.
Work from home.
So Sarah, you're saying you're a fan of a little night rain?
I mean, yeah, I guess you could call it that.
I do.
I forgive you for that thing earlier.
That's a good host. I'm glad I work for Ben.
Oh, work with.
At my friend's meetup last year, the showers, like the bathrooms, water stopped working, and I needed to wash my feet before I got on the air mattress. And so I filled up a bowl in the sink and washed my feet in it.
Whoa!
And my
Just
friend
like
saw
Jesus.
it. Yeah, thank you. Oh, interesting. Thank you. My very chill friend was like, hey, everybody's got their thing right on, and left. And I was like, oh, I guess this is weird.
And I did
Crouched
it
in the sink with a bowl.
my sister and I shared a bathroom growing up, and I would pick up my foot and put it in the sink and wash it in the sink.
I mean, I guess I can imagine that feeling good.
I've never imagined this before. As someone who just like showers and then goes to bed immediately.
That makes sense, but it's truly like
there's two of you here who feel the same. I've never met anybody else who does this.
It's the idea of getting into bed with like dirty feet. That there's like a stiffness when your feet are dirty. It just feels. It's not even about sanitation.
Right now, I feel it.
I go out with my feet out all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. We conceal our feet.
Do you wear
I'm
socks?
not out with my feet out. I'm not out with my feet out.
Dogs
It's
out all the time?
It's a free country.
It shan't be.
Sorry, barefoot's legal.
Yeah.
Leo, did you write this question?
I did give it the rare 100 instead of the thumbs up.
Yeah, I cannot skip this one. So Jeff, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, like, do you ever wash your feet in the shower, or is it just a matter of gravity brings soapy stuff down there, so you assume they're doing fine?
No, I scrub them.
You scrub. How often you scrubbing them?
I scrub them in the. Well, I always wash them. If they feel rough, then I'll scrub them.
What does that mean? So hand wash versus rag wash? Rag on a stick wash?
Rag.
I knew those would be your two options.
Rag?
What are you?
No, like one of those pumice stones. You uncultured swine.
Those are good. Those are good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Get the dead skin off.
Yeah, I don't think.
Ben Hansen's shower.
I'm also a night rain person.
Something I want to know about.
Sarah.
Yeah.
That's when you got all the dirt on you, so you do it.
Yeah, and then you
before
got to get in bed when you're all clean.
Yeah,
So
no.
my hair gets greasy really fast, so
I have that too.
I have one of these
things?
I have one of those.
Yeah. I love
It's got like
those.
1,000 little dots on it. It's a circle thing with a gripper on the back. It's like kind of a silicone plastic
And you
feel.
just scrub them?
And it's more sanitary, like the what are they called? The scrunchy ones.
Loofah.
The loofahs keep so much bacteria and then they get nasty, but those are really a much more clean alternative.
I was hoping someone could tell me what they're called.
I don't know why I'm talking
No
about
one
them
knows.
this way.
No one knows. Hey,
These are great feet scrubbers. I scrub my feet every time in the shower too. Maybe I am just a freak.
I agree, folks. This is too much foot talk. Let's move on to greener pastures.
Ben, what do you do?
I
If
let
anything.
water take care of them. I invite anybody to smell my feet at any moment. I think I'm doing just fine.
Yeah,
But
of course you do.
If it was like,
what a
I can
shocker!
tell- I can
Please
tell
smell
that
my
you
feet.
don't
That's how it ended.
scrub,
Because
I don't touch
every
my
time
feet.
you asked people, you went, "Do you scrub or do you do the natural thing?" Like letting the water flow down and touch
Leading
them,
the
and that's
witness.
enough. That's
Yeah,
how
I-
you phrased it 3 times.
I think it's probably like
And the worst part,
Yeah.
is I'm so sick and tired of arguing hygiene on this podcast. There's going to be a million comments on the YouTube that are like, Ben's right. What's wrong with you guys?
yeah.
Why don't you just piss in the shower on your feet while you're at it? Like,
Right.
it's the same thing.
Kill 2 birds
Yeah, that's why it's so important, Sarah.
to get that word
It's
It's
out.
a PSA.
Yeah.
It's a PSA.
Well, ours is also
shower.
a PSA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
all the
I
time.
think
Pee shower all the time.
I think if it was like, gun to a head, how often do I wash my feet in the shower? Like with hand or whatever, rub soap on it, like every 5 months? Like I just feel like the water and the soap are always running through them, and I think they're doing just great. Again, I invite all listeners, come to my house and smell my feet and give me something good to eat. Felix,
You know what? Again, your points are way up. You're way in the positive again. It's like, of course you do get pretty clean where nobody's going to notice no matter what, but my feet are like soft after I wash them. And that's nice. That's a good feeling.
that's why you're so eager to show them off in that travelogue floating down the river. You're like, look at these suckers. You kept zooming in. I had to edit out all the footage of you just zooming in on your own feet.
You what?
Edit out. He clipped it and then dragged it to his little personal folder.
Little personal folder.
MinnMax feet.
Tootsies.
You're getting a little personal. Felix Davin writes in and says, hey, Minneapolis Maximum. We're Minnesota Maximum. Get it right. Can you all think of a game in which the word vagina appears? Besides back
I
alley
like
Steam
this.
game.
Okay,
I
only
like
one
this.
person put a thumb up for this, and guess
We
who?
don't need to do a litigation of the thumbs every time.
There was other questions that had 4 thumbs on them, of which I think you've read none.
Not interested.
Because I don't have an answer. I was curious if anyone
I knew it!
I've
I
got
wanted a group debate about if we could think of one.
I've got it.
One.
I've got it.
I
I've
even
got it.
Googled video game script search, and then it was bringing up because I wanted to look up a bunch of scripts and look up the word vagina, but then
Yeah.
it was like scripts like coding, and I was like, no, look up video game narrative scripts, and then I couldn't find it, and I gave up, and I forgot that I liked this.
It's those like hospital teaching games probably that they use
Probably.
for like to teach
a
and educate
fantastic answer.
nurses in medical
I
schools.
feel like GTA 5 had to have said the word.
I bet it did
vagina
not.
somewhere.
Here's
You
my
know what though?
It's-
I think
know
it's
it.
4 because it's funnier with the accent.
Oh,
to them.
Which of course goes a little something
They
like this.
definitely had an Eastern European guy say that in a funny way.
Yeah.
That word
Here,
that I
I
would
got
never
this-
say.
I got the scripts for most missions.
Okay. Yeah. Look through
Oh,
that.
I think they're all separated.
Okay. I do have the answer. If anyone's fucking curious,
Wait, yeah.
it's Cyberpunk. It's Cyberpunk 2077.
They
That
say
was my
vagina?
second guess because they say the C word all the time.
It's
so-
nonstop.
You think the
Can you
name
use it in a
V
sentence?
stands for
Can you
vagina?
use it in the
It was there the whole time. You didn't realize.
This is good podcast. Good podcast right now.
Yeah, it's in the beginning in the character creator. Because remember talking about in the deepest dive, like I just you never see the word vagina.
But no one says
your
it.
TV.
It's not like you hover over it.
Yeah,
and go,
that's not
vagina.
really-
If you do like text to speech,
Yeah, right. The accessibility.
Accessible.
Oh,
Does it
okay,
have good
okay.
accessibility so that we can
Yeah.
hear the word vagina?
they
So we need to
must
know now.
they must say it.
text
as
to
well.
speech. Does Cyberpunk have text to speech?
It
That's
must.
what we need to know
It
now.
must for everything. Yeah.
Someone's saying no, it says vulva.
No, it says vagina.
Oh.
It says vagina, but you select the vulva very carefully. Tyler writes in and says, by the way, only Marvel
Sorry,
movie?
you guys. Sorry, I liked that one. I didn't-
Haley, why did you do this?
Why did you do this to the
He
podcast?
I
did
was
right after the
interested.
feet question too.
Yeah.
yeah.
So Tyler writes in, oh boy, whiplash. Okay. Do you ever feel like video games sometimes inflict a fear of failure onto us? I'm terrible at taking my own advice, but I know it's important to embrace failure in life. However, video games tend to make me become a perfectionist. I want this level run to be perfect. I want the most health items, etc. I find myself with certain games constantly reloading my last save or checkpoint to ensure my outcome is the best. But is that authentic? I know video games are fiction, but is it reinforcing a bad behavior for our lives?
Hold on, shut up. Not Weirder says he found a part in the GTA 4 script where they say the word.
Yeah! What's the context? Give us the
There you go.
context.
Says it.
Who says it? And is
says
it funny?
it?
Cousin, you want to go get some vagina?
Haley!
Oh, I'd say pretty normal. Okay. That's like on my
Also,
face.
Joey in the comments quoted Ben as saying, "Why are they age gating all our content?" Which was the other question that we
YouTube started
talked
it.
about earlier.
I do think that's a really interesting question. I think probably in general, games are good at like teaching you to overcome things, but I also think, you know, it's hard to start anything because you don't feel that good at it, right? Starting a new hobby, starting a new thing you're nervous to try. It's like, well, if I'm not feeling adequate at it, it's not like rewarding to keep trying until I get good at it. That's like makes it hard to start anything new for a lot of people. And I do wonder if games kind of get you used to getting through things,
Yeah.
being adequate at stuff because they're designed to. And then when you don't, it's like, well, I have plenty of things I can feel adequate at, so why would I do this?
Right. Why would I learn to play guitar when I can play Guitar Hero? The end.
Right.
Yeah, I think about this a lot in terms of like video editing. I do think it has probably added more anxiety to my life when doing so much video editing throughout my life. And it's always just about like, I can clean this up. I can make this situation better. I can trim out this little stumble the way this person speaks, that I think I'm more anxious at parties and stuff because I just feel myself messing
edit
up.
yourself?
Because I can't edit myself in real time.
You're anxious at parties because of this?
Yeah. Of just like, oh, I wish I didn't stumble there. Oh, I wish I could have corrected that. Oh, I could have trimmed that out. Like if you only have a video editing mindset,
crazy.
it like kind of
trimmed
breaks
that
your
out.
brain,
Wow.
I think. Leo, you know what I'm talking
Wow.
about? Do you have any of that?
Maybe a little.
No, he's normal.
Normal?
He has clean feet.
Okay.
Normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess when I'm nervous or socially, I just kind of like feel my soft feet. And
In the corner of the party with your socks off, rubbing your toes.
I'm normal.
Cover writes in and says, I was going through my notes app and I forgot that like 2 years ago, around the time Ben was on paternity leave, I started writing down what I call out of context Ben Hansen. But I completely forgot about that note, and then it got buried under random grocery lists and mental doodles. Anyways, I have a bunch of notes for quotes that I wrote down, if you guys want to hear some out of context Ben Hansen quotes. And I want the record to show I know this is self-indulgent, I apologize, but they all voted for it, so...
it's one of the questions we all actually voted for.
Yeah. So would you like me to read this as if I'm saying this for the first time, or what's the...
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Someone be dominant, please! I think I was screaming at you guys because it was just silence.
Is there context too for all of them?
No. I just remember some of these that I can imagine. This I said, Jeffum, you ever love anything? I can't imagine this is actually happening. I said, how much are you sucking out of that tank? How much can your stomach hold? I actually saw Sarah
Pacific
elevate
Drive?
up to the heavens. Never order a dog off of Amazon.
Okay.
A classic.
Leo, I see those eyebrows. This is aged well. I said, tweet for the job you want.
You and like a poster. Like,
Yeah,
Wolf
that's
of Wall
good,
Street
yeah.
vibe.
Sarah looks like I just shoved a big pile of feces in front of her on a plate. Yeah.
I feel like I make that face a lot, though.
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah, that could have been anything.
Stop that. Squat down in Moo Moo Meadows. You're ours now. Give us your milky money. That can't be a sentence.
That's the best one so far. That's the best one.
Yeah, we did.
That
Love
needs to be a
saying
MinnMax t-shirt.
Just full text. Or it's like the names of the Beatles style. Yeah. Okay. Sly Cut writes in and says, hello all. What's your favorite Bond film? Someone be down.
I like Diamonds Are Forever as a kid.
Wow.
Casino Royale, which as age varied, I mean, it's weird now. I watched it not too long ago, and like the first scene, Bond strangles a woman with her bikini top, like attacks her, like not self-defense at all.
She's a bystander?
Oh, that's Dexter. You're thinking of Dexter again, Leo.
She's got some information, but it's like, try to ask her first the normal way. Oh, please.
That's why I wear One Pieces.
Casino Royale is still the best.
Luffy.
And I think, and one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
And what was is it Die Another Day, the Pierce Brosnan Gawker one?
Yes.
With Michelle Yeoh?
Yes.
That is one of the most fun, goofy, bad ones for sure.
Yeah,
there's so much Pierce Brosnan trying to fire two submachine guns hotly, like with a smirk on his face, these giant guns waving around. It's a really, really funny watch.
That's Tomorrow Never Dies, apparently, with Michelle Yeoh.
Okay, Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah. Die Another Day is like the last Pierce Brosnan one, which also completely goes off the rails.
With Halle Berry.
The Halle Berry coming out of the water, but then that's the one where he's like surfing down the wave around like the ice and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I'm like, oh, Bond, got it, Bond, got it, Bond, you know, just the way you talk at parties when you're being anxious and stuff. And, but then I realized like, I have a huge gap. Like I have seen all the Daniel Craig stuff except for Quantum of Solace, because everyone said it was bad. But then for every other Bond, the only other Bond I've seen is Die Another Day. I've never seen Goldeneye. I've never seen any other Pierce Brosnan Bond. But Die Another Day, I saw twice in theaters because I saw it and I was like, this is dumb fun. This is great. And then like the next week, I went and saw Adam Sandler's 8 Crazy Nights, the animated film. And it was genuinely the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And I walked out and I just went and watched Die Another Day again after like 15 minutes. So I'm doubling down apparently on the worst Pierce Brosnan one, but I remember having a hoot with that film.
Well, there you go.
I think Die Another Day was the one with like a 40-minute cold open before the credits, which for some reason I thought was really cool when I first saw it. I was like, this is a big movie. This is cool.
Keep going.
Big man movie.
But yeah, it's obviously Casino Royale.
Yeah. But I also like Goldeneye for nostalgia because that was the first Pierce Brosnan one. All the old ones, I think I've seen like every single Bond movie, and all the old ones are a lot slower and more boring than you think they are.
For sure. The Goldfinger, there's like a big build up to the big heist scene and it's about to pop off, and then it is 12 shots of them driving to the bank with no music. Just like cutting to one of the new street, driving down. Yeah.
Using his blinker like some boring 007 First Light video game.
They're really honoring that.
That's really got it. Yeah.
Drake Heinhorst has a question for Sarah. It's not so much a question as a statement. They say the term werewolf comes from Old English were, meaning man, and wolf, meaning wolf. So essentially it means man-wolf. But when Sonic transforms in Sonic Unleashed, he becomes a werehog. A man-hedgehog, according to Old English.
Hell yeah.
Let's see. More badass than I thought. That's great.
Hot. Ricky Winterborn writes in, they say, Skate 4 is coming to early access soon. Congratulations. The reaction seems divided between the old fans hating the mobile game vibes and new players who think it's fun and don't mind that loot box progression. You think an old beloved game is always worth reviving, even if it means it's free to play with loot boxes?
You know, in the case of Skate, I'd rather have that version than nothing at all, I think.
Yeah.
It's not like a genre that's super, super saturated, but I don't think across the board that's true.
Yeah, like
the correct answer is no. Not every old IP. You can do it for Skate, sure, but there's plenty of things that you can just go back and play the old game and they don't have to desecrate it.
Oh, so don't revive it at all. Leave it in the coffin, just go in the coffin with the game, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, because when Dungeon Keeper came back, like all these EA properties, and it's like the grossest possible free-to-play version of it on mobile. Like here you go, Commander Keen. Remember that mobile revival of everyone's favorite Commander?
I remember when that announcement dropped. That was huge.
Megaton. Leo, where's your hype at for Skate 4?
I'm curious about it. I don't know. Riders Republic still is, I haven't gone back to it in a while, but it's still like, I know that it's out there for me. I had a great experience with Extreme Sports recently, and that has skateboarding in it. I'm sure this will be better skateboarding, but it's like, I don't feel super underfed, even though I just said this genre is not super saturated.
Yeah.
It's still like, I support more games in there, and I will try it, but I'm not like dying.
Gotcha. Tan writes in, maybe Tan from Queer Eye, and they say, hey, MinnMax, you must each answer true or false to these hot take-inducing questions. You can provide supporting arguments if you want. That won't be necessary, Tan. So true or false? We all got to yell it at the same time. The age of great mobile games is over. True.
What do they consider like the great mobile games? Is that like iPhone beer app where it looked like you were drinking a beer?
Yes.
That was
and the Constellation one where I tell you what constellation you're looking at. All the great apps.
There was a joint one. There was a joint smoking.
That's
one.
what I would
I'm
do at
laughing
parties
already.
when I would panic. I would just pull out my iPod and go, you guys.
And then everyone would start a slow clap.
Yeah. And then I took my feet out.
And then they'd stop clapping.
They would clap harder, actually.
Oh, okay. That was your feet clapping.
Think about some angry dogs.
I currently have Balatro and Merge Maestro on my phone, so I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I say false.
No.
Okay.
I mean, false.
It's good in Apple Arcade, but I don't know. I feel like I'm probably.
What do you consider the greatest age then?
Well, I was going to
think
say
it's over.
Well, I just think like it was such a
cut
fun
the rope
before
and
free to
Angry
play
Birds.
just completely took over and it was free to play just dominating everything. In my mind, I was like, I just feel like the momentum's over for people being excited about games on your phone for like some words with your friends stuff. Then I'm like, I don't know, Monopoly Go is making $48 million per second, or whatever the hell that version's
Everyone's
called.
just quietly into it, yeah.
Yeah, they should be loud and be shamed.
I feel like we're at a new generation of like games that you can just release on mobile though, and they'll be fine. I'm like Wordplay is going to come out on phone at some point if it hasn't already, and that will be another great, like perfect for mobile, even if it's not. I'm not going to the mobile store and looking for games, but when there's a good PC like indie game that is suitable for it, like that's
Or Resident Evil
better
4.
than 99% of rather play that than threes.
That's it. Okay, true or false? The Switch 2 will have a Nintendo-developed killer app with great mouse functionality. No, we've talked about it before. I don't think there's some great magic.
That would have
mouse
happened
movement.
already at launch.
Yeah.
I feel like if that was.
It did. It was called Welcome Tour.
Do we think the Switch 3 will have the mouse functionality?
Oh,
Yeah, it actually will just be like a tiny laptop.
Oh,
with a mouse attached to it.
great.
Like a
That's not bad.
DS, like you can open it up.
Trackball.
Yeah,
I'll
they
miss
want a
having
trackpad on
two
it.
mice, one in each hand, but that's okay.
Fighting games will never have mainstream appeal. That's tough.
Well, Smash Bros has mainstream appeal.
Yeah, what does mainstream
define
mean? Like
mainstream appeal.
Fortnite?
Like, yeah.
If Fortnite released the fighting game, it would have mainstream appeal.
Well, I think they're kind of trying that for League, right? We're kind of getting that test.
I think with the success of Marvel Rivals, that teaches me that Marvel Tokon fighters could be something huge.
Yeah.
I feel like there's just something about fighting, like the gameplay of fighting games, that is not as mass appealing as like a battle royale.
Yeah.
I think it's like that skill that like I think there's just something about the gameplay that keeps it from going into like Fortnite territory.
And even if they make a really
Fortnite.
streamlined one, it's such a tricky
Shut
thing.
up, Haley. Shut up.
I like the way you said it. I wanted to say I did an echo thing where I just was having fun.
Don't you wish you could edit that moment out of your life, Sarah?
Yes.
So, but it's so weird because like fighting games are like so easily understandable. That's the reason they're great to watch.
I feel like they're
right?
not though, right? Like it's a high skill ceiling, low.
But just
skill,
watching it, if
whatever.
you watch a Street Fighter 6 match, you don't understand all the buttons they're pressing and why. But like you see health bars go down, this guy punches this guy more at the
But
end.
be so honest, is it entertaining?
I like it.
I feel like it's
sometimes.
entertaining for 5 minutes, and then they all start to look the same. You know, like that's why it's not a successful esport
Yeah.
compared
Then it
to
just looks
like,
punch, punch,
other
punch,
large
hit, hit.
esports. Yeah.
Punch.
I mean,
hit,
it's
punch,
doing
hit.
all right in the esports arena, but yeah, I think
I guess I feel like somebody could crack it. Somebody could make that version of it that is satisfying and easy to pick up and
Yeah, I
play.
think the gameplay would have to change somehow.
yeah.
Would any like 1v1 game reach that kind of mainstream
Yeah, it's called
Who
chess.
said that?
popularity?
There was a quote from was it Kamiya who was like, fighting games will never be massive because kids like to blame their teammates when they lose.
Oh,
great
interesting.
point.
That's
Somebody
good.
said that quote and got roasted, and they were so right
Yeah, yeah.
to say that.
De-roast them, folks. Ice them down. The PS2 has the greatest console library of all time. I'll say true to that. I mean, unless we're going like backwards compatibility, then that gets messy, right?
We got to keep that separate. That's too messy.
Yeah, it's too messy.
I would say false.
DS?
Best library?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they got a Hitman on that.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You know, I played a lot of Hitman back on my Dreamcast, Leo. I don't know about you, but shout out
Must
to
be
the
the best
IO
console
showcase.
ever.
The $80 MSRP for AAA games will be standardized in 2026. 2028.
2028 feels about right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They always like to go, give them a little breathing room to get used to it. Okay, do it again.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably true.
There we go. All right. Thank you, Tan, for writing in with those. What do y'all like for a question of the week?
I liked
did
when
like
Haley asked what Tetris piece we would kiss.
Oh, yeah. Haley.
Everyone ignored
And I
me.
noticed that some people did not answer.
Yeah.
I refuse.
Personal. It's
I don't know. The Z.
No, you like long skinny piece. Don't even lie.
Okay.
You're a long skinny piece kisser. You know, at the moment I met you.
Okay, Haley.
Give it to Haley. She needs the coupon anyway.
I already bought all the stuff.
That's it. You get the coupon.
I did like the Mass Effect and Halo games come out in the same year. So that was an interesting discovery.
What was the one we got mad at, but then ended up having a decent conversation?
The Nintendo one.
Nintendo.
Yeah.
Silksong anticipation. What's coming up next? How often do you clean your
Vagina.
feet? Vagina.
Clean Your Feet was a good one too.
Yeah.
I liked the Ben Hansen quotes.
Do you?
Just because like the effort of getting all those, I appreciate.
Okay. We've got a lot of options here, folks. We need definitive takes.
This is tough. This is a tough one. Toughest
Someone be
in memory.
dominant.
Yeah. I'd probably go feet.
I don't want to encourage
There's
people to
another
like
item.
no.
What a surprise.
Yeah, what a surprise!
Put it
I don't want
on
to like I don't want to encourage like hygiene related questions.
Okay,
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 like
okay.
I'm tired of them.
Then Nintendo.
I
gets
don't want to
secretive.
be disappointed anymore.
Okay.
Luckily, this one was a positive one.
Yeah, you
If
learned we
that's
all
the-
were squeaky clean.
If that's the goal for this one, I want to encourage more questions like Ben Hansen quotes then. I feel like that's the question I most want more of.
Well, it's the best question, not what.
What made the show the best?
Well, that's where the conversation was leading. Ever podcasted before?
Yeah, and I feel like the vagina question is really getting tossed away. That's a really original thought, and then we all got really engaged.
You just like the vagina one because you were the only one that liked it.
Yeah, you all loved it now, don't you? And Jeff even said, pause this next question. We have an answer for the vagina one. If you recall, that's what happened back in the day.
I do.
And then we all backtracked and thought about it again.
It was Sarah in GTA 4, so said in an American accent, but she was quoting Nico, so maybe she was doing a voice.
I hope to God she was doing a voice. Jeff, call it. You want Nintendo being secretive or vaginas?
For the thing.
Okay.
He left us.
What choice did you give him?
We have to wait till he comes back before we choose. That's
He's probably
so
watching
funny.
the stream.
Do we think his computer died, or did he hit the end?
No,
he would be back
he
already.
absolutely just left.
He's been a
Welcome back.
frickin' stinker.
I honestly couldn't figure out how to get back in.
That was so funny.
Did you guys pick one?
Yeah, we ended up going with vaginas. Congratulations, Felix Davin. You just won question of the week. Unless anybody else has another thought, I'm not trying to steamroll this. I'm trying to just pick one.
Almost 10:30.
He's trying to change it after we've awarded it.
All right,
There's one in Stardew Valley as well. They say
really?
when you put in favorite food.
Oh, it's 12:30 where I am. It's 12:30.
Cut the podcast right after that. We peaked.
Oh, we're getting a bunch of streamers in the back chat. You know how you can do emotes? They love Julio. They love it.
Oh, good.
Oh no! Yay!
I thought it was my parents.
Okay, now it's time for something we call Get a Load of This. Do you think?
No, we just all sit there in complete silence.
Did you see that the new show plus suggestion I had in the docket, Leo? Of it'd be pretty fun if we just like choreographed the Get a Load of This sequence dance, like just that, yeah. So just like it was like perfect, and we just nailed it every time. Would that be great?
I love that.
Thank you. That's a good new show plus.
fun.
We'll get it in the poll in the future.
I hate the quietness we have to do for the song.
No one else
I won't
knows what
lie.
you're talking about. Hey, get a load of this. There was a podcast that was very good many moons ago by one Robert Ashley, who came out of that whole 1UP scene, right? And it was called Life Well Wasted. And suddenly, years and years and years and years down the road, Robert Ashley dropped episode 9 of Life Well Wasted. The original pitch is a little bit of This American Life, but for video games. And every episode had like this amazing Ollie Moss art. But they just dropped episode 9, and Haley, you should listen to this. It's called Game Over, and instead of being multiple stories from the world of video games and the people who play them, instead this one just zooms in, and it's all about one topic. But the topic is people talking about the game that they worked on and it being launched, and it did not go well. But they all are like, we can't say what the game is, but it is abundantly clear that it's Concord. And so it's just an hour of developers who worked on Concord, like talk about how that launch felt. And it is fascinating.
That's fascinating.
It's so good. It's like my favorite piece of games coverage from this year so far. Like, one artist, she was talking about, she had the perfect analogy where she's like, yeah, it feels like you're just bonding with hundreds of people on the game development team. And you're working on this thing for 4 years. And you're working on it for 4 years. It's like being in high school, but then imagine at the end of high school, they don't give you a diploma and you didn't graduate and they just kick you out and say good luck. Like that is what it's like when a game launches and they just shut it down and erased all existence of it ever happening.
They delete every photo of you in the yearbook.
Yeah. Well, someone were talking about that. They're like, I wanted to have stuff to put on my reel, but I couldn't access it and I didn't get a video of it and now it's just gone forever. And it's just, it is fascinating to hear, but it's got a good sense of humor about it as well. So Life Well Wasted is the name of that podcast if you want to check it out.
Great show. Haven't listened to the new episode yet, but amazing that there's a new one.
Hell yeah.
I get a load of this. Little game on itch.io that's free called Blue Jeweled. And it's Bejeweled. Bejeweled 3 specifically, but it's modded to have more blue in it. And so you will click on things and more blue than usual will be there. And I guess that's all I need to say because it's a rewarding play, Blue Jeweled.
You need to play easy mode Bejeweled is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. But it's also cerebral. Play more than the first level. It's a real deconstruction of the genre.
Cool. Right on.
I'm sure it is. Get a load of this. Get a load of this.
Okay, noted.
My things about Dead by Daylight again. Dead by Daylight's crazy right now, you guys. There's so much happening. It's crazy. They're literally like completely changing so much of gameplay to like punish killers for playing a certain way. So there's this thing in Dead by Daylight called tunneling, which is a strategy. Survivors obviously don't like it because one person has a really bad time, but it's like the first person that goes on the hook, get them out of the game as soon as possible is essentially the strategy, right? Because then you're only dealing with 3 survivors and it's much easier to win the game. Person who gets tunneled has a very bad time. And so Behavior was like, how do we account for this? And essentially they just like are, right now it's in the testing phase. So it's not live, but like people can play matches. It's like if you leave someone slugged on the ground, like leave them on the ground, they can pick themselves up now without a perk, which is insane because like sometimes you genuinely need to leave someone on the ground because for all the other people are around you, what are you going to do? Pick them up, flashlight you in the face? Okay, no, can't do that. I'm a killer main if you can't tell. It's just like completely like, it's so weird. It's like also if you get someone out too early before 6 hooks, they can do gens 25% faster. So they're trying to get you to do all the 4 separate people and kill them like 1 hook, 1 hook, 1 hook, 1 hook. Time for the second hooks, 1 hook, 1 hook. Like they want you to be doing that so everyone spends the most time in the game. But what happens in reality is they just all are going to like abuse that. And some teams might actually just like let one player die. Like if there's one solo queue player, they'll say, don't save her, let her die on hook, and we'll just stay on gens that go 25% faster and we'll win. All that is to say the community is like crazy right now. It's like the craziest place to be right now.
From like an outsider perspective, it seems like they've like almost revamped how the game is working.
Yeah.
And somebody said it was like to help get new players in with no perks. But like I don't know.
No killers are going to want to play. I saw a thread on Dead by Daylight that was just killers. If this goes live, join the match, put on Insidious, which is just if you stand still, they can't find you, and go stand in the corner, and we'll show them we're going to stop this.
What is it like? What is this like in game? What is it like? Stand in boycotts or stand in protesting? Like what is this?
Exactly. And so survivors don't want to get killed. Go ahead. You won't even see me all match. Like that kind of energy. And the survivors are like, killers, shut up. This is totally fair. It's like the weirdest infighting. This is such a interesting community management perspective where like your own community is like othering each other based on the roles that you've set in the game, which is like killer versus survival. Is really there's very few flex Dead by Daylight players. You're either in the survivor bucket or the killer bucket. There's very few people that dabble in both.
Is it because you have to go to like for specific perks? Like you have to
probably
tunnel them a little bit more? There is no flexibility between them?
I think there's just an appeal. Like, I feel like if you don't have people to play with, you're naturally going to play killer because solo queue is so awful in Dead by Daylight. It's one of the worst solo queue experiences you can play in games. And then if you play with a group, you'll always pick survivor because you just can't play with them otherwise. So what you have is a bunch of Swifts, which are survive with friend teams, and then no friendless assholes like me who just want to play this game but don't have friends to do the queue with the freaking survivor, so I play killer. And then they all are in comms saying, she's over here, don't come over here right now. And how on earth do I counter that? Because they just all know where I am 24/7, so then they all get the gens done. They all teabag me at the gates. Anyways, I need to have like a dedicated Dead by Daylight time in the podcast maybe, so I don't just bogart the get a load of this question to talk about Dead by Daylight. But
that was a really bad get a load of this.
Yeah, shut up, Leo. You're just back to the dunk tank.
Sounds like you need more blue gems, Haley.
Doesn't feel so good, does it?
The final it feels great. Now I'm empowered to talk even more, idiot.
There
also is a new killer. Yeah, there's a new killer. There's a new killer, and she's insane. And the reason I'm bringing her up is so I have an easy thing to link, honestly, because I don't know how I link my feelings towards all the killer changes. So it's a new killer. She's based on Thai folklore, and she's terrifying. She looks like a normal lady, but then her whole body pulls out of her head, and it's like just her spine floating and internal organs. And then she can, one of her moves is intestinal whip. And she takes her dangling lower intestines and goes like this and hits you with them. It's disgusting. And her Mori is so gross that people's videos on YouTube are getting like demonetized because of how graphic and gory it is.
My
and
God.
So Dead by Daylight YouTubers are blurring out her Mori, which they never usually have to do.
That's
and like
cool,
making it black and white and stuff. It's crazy.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
Wow. Get a load of this. Back from the grave, everybody. It's Infinity Nikki with the craziest collaboration. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
Infinity Nikki is collaborating with Stardew Valley.
Whoa.
I know. I was shocked too when I saw it.
And the girls are pissed.
There's kind of like a lot of contention in the community because people are like, how could Concerned Ape do this to this evil company that just wants my money to play this game that they gave me for free? So there's a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
But like, it is kind of a crazy collab. I think this is probably like the biggest game Stardew Valley's collabed with in a while. Because I know they've done like Terraria and they've done like Balatro, but like they don't do a lot of this kind of stuff, especially with the game that's like 3D. So I watched the trailers. Crazy. So basically you're just going to get what looks like a little sub-quest, and you get a furniture item, which is like a chicken gramophone, and then they revealed one of the 3-star outfits, which is a cute little farming girl outfit with like a pixelated chicken on the back.
Cute.
And they took the Junimos, you know, those little like green guys, and they put them in the Infinity Nikki world, but they're 3D.
Cool.
But they tried to like maintain the pixelness. I think it doesn't look great. It kind of comes out to like a soft gummy voxel style, which I feel like doesn't do it for me, but just an absolute out of the box. You're like, yeah, that makes so much sense for that collaboration, but I also never thought that I was going to live to see it happen.
It's fun to think. I hadn't even considered that, but like, of course, Epic has probably knocked on the door to be like, hey, can we get Stardew characters in Fortnite? Like, I'm sure that conversation has happened, right?
How would that work?
Who would they put in? Mayor Lewis? Deadbed Grandpa?
The homeless guy?
Deadbed Grandpa would be lit winning that victory royale.
Maru?
Get a load of this. Alana Pierce has a new video called I Asked 20 Game Developers About Stop Killing Games.
Yeah.
And she kind of just recaps all the different opinions that they got on whether it's good or not. And the main takeaway is it depends on, you know, what kind of game you're making. But she kind of goes through a lot of different cases and examples. And it's a good kind of recap to catch you up on that whole movement and what a bunch of developers are thinking about it.
I like how curious Alana is and like having the connections and hitting the pavement to like talk to all these developers. And the way she framed it was very much like, I wanted to post this after kind of people stopped screaming about that entire thing. Like it calmed down a little bit, just see if we could actually get some insight. Yeah, for sure. Hey, get a load of this. Nick from Atlanta shared this in the Discord, where people share good little tidbits all day, every day. Maybe you guys saw it, but it's a Blue Sky post, a little quick video of a reporter who was left speechless after witnessing Japan's new $70 million maglev train in action when it goes by this reporter at 310 miles per hour. And it's one of those things like you expect the train to go fast, and then it's a double whammy of the train goes way faster than you think it's going to go by them. And the reaction from this reporter is pure bliss. It's really lovely. So links below if you want to check out all this fun stuff. Except for Haley and Leo's, because if somebody disses somebody else's get a load of this, then they're nuked. And it's not included in the link. Yeah,
mine's really gross also. Like I feel like I need to do like a warning or something. It's really, really graphic, folks.
Yeah, so one of those links below will make you puke. All right, that's it for this episode.
Blue jeweled.
Oh my god!
I got the last dunk and the podcast.
You're bad. Good thing, sucks.
Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, sharing, listening to the MinnMax Show podcast. Any help sharing it online is appreciated. We have a bunch of stuff happening on MinnMax recently and moving into the future, by God. The new episode of Pew Pew Bang dropped. They're following up the Game Boy Advance episode, of course, with the Wii episode. It's a huge discussion celebrating the Wii and also debating the Wii and all that good stuff. Pew Pew Bang, subscribe to it in a standalone podcast feed, or you can watch it on YouTube. Do you all have specific plugs for this episode you want to get out there?
You can see my X as a me.
Oh!
X is Haley revealed. It's his me.
Oh my God.
Come check it out.
Cool. X's. There's also the deepest dive on Metal Gear Solid Delta. That's up. The first episode's up on MinnMax's YouTube channel and in the bonus podcast feed. If you're a $5 supporter, that is a 2-hour conversation about the opening 2 hours of Metal Gear Solid 3. So I love that.
Literally,
those
as many
discussions.
minutes as it is.
Yeah, it's fun to match that exactly. So that is just the first episode talking about the Virtuous Mission, but we are aiming to give that game the discussion it deserves. So we're covering the rest of the game here this coming week. We'll have a post up on Friday. Today, if you're watching this, listening to this, up on Patreon, where you can submit your thoughts on the game up through the Sorrow boss fight. So the Sorrow boss fight is the stopping point for the next discussion that's going to be airing next week on YouTube and in that bonus podcast feed. So if you want to submit your thoughts, have us read your thoughts on that huge chunk of Metal Gear Solid 3 or Metal Gear Solid Delta, jump in there and support us at any tier on Patreon. If you jump into that $5 tier on Patreon, you get access to the podcast version of The Deepest Dives, but then also access to Bonus Pod, where this week Haley talked to Kelsey Lewin all about PAX. It was a very fun conversation about just Kelsey's experience about PAX, setting up and tearing down the Pink Gorilla game store, but also how to stop thieves and Kelsey's history with.
We talk about her theft procedures.
Yeah,
That was really fun.
It was fun. And also it's just fun to have Haley just be like, oh, tell me more about running a shop. Tell me more. And I realize you're just fueled because of Discounty. I feel like you're just very in tune with wanting to run a little shop.
I just feel like Kelsey knows so much about business that I want to tap into that she doesn't get to talk about otherwise, because she'll be like, oh yeah, you need to do this on a Thursday because otherwise the gamers don't buy it till next Tuesday. I'm like, how do you know that? Like, she just like knows all these things about gamers and what they buy.
Which yeah, you should like, there are comments on the Patreon post that are like oh, we want more Kelsey's business blast and stuff, so check that out.
They really got me.
I'm glad. Yeah. Also, New Show Plus this week was very absurd. I don't have the heart to watch the second half quite yet, but it is a game called Guilty as Sock.
I can't imagine why.
Where it was apparently I was on trial and you were sock people in this game and you debated in a courtroom what happened.
I would love to watch your reaction to that.
I don't know. Also, let's see, other stuff on the horizon. We have a travelogue for Gamescom coming up, showing Sarah Nana's grand journey. I'm sorry, Janet Nana's, thank you, grand journey there. Also, we have a rapid fire that's in the can, unless Leo deleted the footage. But that should be dropping on Monday for a very anticipated game from 2025. So I'm excited to get out there.
The most anticipated.
I would say probably Kyle Hillier's most anticipated game of 2025. So look forward to that rapid fire on Monday. How's that going, Leo?
Great. I'm done with the assembly. Just want to add some funny clips before the screening tomorrow for MinnMax Council members.
This is, the coolest thing is I love having MinnMax Council members join us for like a rough screening of it. Because it's actually, you want to see how the sausage is made. If you're at the $10 tier, we'll post that archive of that whole stream as well, where we just kind of break down like, okay, I think this should be edited this way, this should be edited this way, all that fun stuff. All right, that is it. We've kept you all here too long. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you want to help support us directly, you can jump in at any tier or upgrade your tier before this coming Monday, September 8th, and we'll send you a Steam code for Spilled. I promise you'll like playing Spilled. I cannot imagine the gamer on Earth who would not like playing Spilled, truly. So check it out by supporting us. We'll DM you on Patreon and we'll post on social media if we run out of codes. But that is it for this episode. Thank you so much, everybody. Greatly appreciate it. All right, we all have to say it together on the count of 3. You ready? 1, 2, 3.
Blue sucks!
Let's go.
Got him.